another pick there on the brain. Ryu gets a pick on the miso, and Claviella cleans up the last wing. Has an idea where they're at, gets the kill, as Claviella's gonna clutch.
Here does realize that though. Claviella gets one, is trying to get the second, does get that second, 3 down on the side of Brilliant College. Now it's a 1v as Ryu gets that first pick. Oh, Aries, good for 2.
Where the last player is. Aries gonna get the kill anyways, and gets the second one off of the defuse.
Finds that first pick, and Claviella looking to get really aggressive, trying to just push towards their backside. Ryu picks up that second. Now, Shenandoah in a 5v2 situation.
This player is off guard, but ultimately has the angle unlocked. Notices power, notices one, notices the other. Going to get the U-fill here as a couple trains come in on either side. It's a 3v2 here. Ryu picks off another one. Ryu gets off the third kill this round as there's one last kill there for Ryu. There's some U-fill there. But Ryu's gonna kick one. Ultimately goes down. First first. Aries first taking down. Power taking. They're playing 5 minutes right now. It's essentially playing straight. And they're playing pretty slow, but it works out there as their patience paid off, as we're going to see very aggressive plays mid here from both sides. Power gets one, gets another. Blue picks up one. Power gets his third. Ryu goes down. Power is very close.
No, I don't think they cleared it.
I don't think they know that Ryu's not here.
Here we go.
Ryu trigger this.
Does try and help that support as Noble and ultimately get their pick. Bomb is planted though. Ultra League has a beautiful flash. Surgery takes it up here.
Oh, a few players, but a huge flash from Victor Ringling. Nobody's looking for Ryu as 4 goes there on the B. Few shots put down there for Claviella. Not going to get anything, but Cersei's going to pick up 3. As there's now 1 player remaining.
Wow.
As Noble picks up Aries. He's going to go ahead in here. Spots the bomb plant. Going to be able to take it down. That's a huge pick there for him to go for the defuse. Is he going to get it? He does! The sneaky defuse.
I believe that the side of Brilliant College is trying to push out. Does get a massive stun. Ultra League gets 2. Realizes there's a 3rd in the cubby. Oh, gets a 4th. Can they get a 5th? Or a 4th? Predators they are, and Koblu is going to take out Claviella, and now it's a 1v1. But Shannon,
no follow-up there, no boost available for Mango after he misses that aerial. But Mango again trying to redeem himself. A limb with a pass off of Mount St. Mary's player. Blocked there by McCaden. Able to keep the ball out of that, keeping it a close game. But Kiaz is going to follow up from mid there. Really well executed in the communication there from Shan.
At them full speed, Ryuk is going to be able to find a kill onto the Cypher. And now that's the heal and support down. Claviella trying to escape with the this game.
1v3 situation again, but also
really matter. Eliminate is able to still just get an attack off. Mango tries to go for a tap off the ceiling, and it's a pass to Kiyazi for the first.
Yeah, Demo is coming back and forth, traded across the board here between Mount St. Mary's and Shenandoah. Mango off the wall, however, able to salve Mount St. Mary's on the attack.
Yeah, and right now a big attack forming from Mount St. Mary's. Fuzzy, is he gonna be able to get on the end of that and clear it? No, he can't.
And really, Mango sees that opportunity and strikes, tying up this game 1 apiece with 2:30 left now, and answered right back. Kiyazi.
Right now, both teams looking absolutely stalwart in their defenses as another big save. But Eliminate is gonna find the back.
An unintended obstacle, yes. We can see some.
Incredible start from Shenandoah. Gonna hold that first point first, but St. Mary's is quickly gonna take it back, and Stevo's gonna pick up.
Oh my God!
Steve coming in big with the two-piece control back in Farmingdale's favor.
To wait for him. Now he's trying to play this control, being nice and close. Lockman is going great.
Oh my goodness!
I don't think he sees the guy right there. Does find the guy planting the bomb. Parlays it into his second. 1v3 looking for the clutch, looking for the last two. He's gonna find one. Another one wants it across.
Absolutely a must-make because of the ease
And
of them.
easy what?
The rest of his team is slowly collapsing. The Sombra is the last one.
Oh,
And then Boydex with the clutch.
Ella gonna get the Nair, starting out the Nair train. Boy cannot get out of it. What are we gonna see? Forward air, then down air!
Taking some form of space outside the spawn door, but Dragonblade's gonna look to take it right back with a huge shatter. Oh my God! Another pick! Another pick! Oh, he just keeps going and just bang!
Hard point in the hand of the other team. Toxic trying to find one, finds a second. Does he get the 30?
Finishes off with the pistol!
The entire team in front of him, and he's gonna find
falling like
four.
dominoes.
The ace actually.
Push all in the corner, and Gingy staying deep instead of going defensive like usual.
Oh my God, it's kickoff probably with a 4-piece.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another Shenandoah Esports broadcast. My name is Chris Clayton, and I'm joined once again by my lovely brother Kevin Clayton. Kevin, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited for some more Super Smash Bros. Ultimate gameplay right here, right now. I want to get into it, but oh my goodness, Chris, we have to wait a little bit. There's stuff we need to talk about first.
There's plenty to talk about. We've got a good amount of time before we'll be getting into our first game, but we are here, as you said, with another Smash Bros. Competition between our very own Shenandoah Esports team and the University of Kentucky. Now, this is week 2. We saw our team play for the first time last week, and we learned a lot.
Yes, we did.
That was a very, very close game. If you missed it, we'll be sure to catch you up throughout the broadcast. But we have a bit of a new look to our roster today, and I'm curious to see how they'll hold up today.
Yes, and by all means, if you are a Smash Bros. Fanatic like myself, I encourage you to go back and watch that series, watch the VOD, because holy cow, there's so much that happened. You really get to see the intricacies of the crew battle format when it comes to strategizing who you send in, what sort of call-outs you should be making, what you want to make, what's not easy. There was so much that went into it. I really do encourage you to go and check that out. But for now, you could go back to that anytime. We have this broadcast right now. You should stay here.
That's true. Yeah, don't go anywhere because we've got some Smash to watch right now. But we'll be getting into that soon. Let's take a moment to talk about the team, right? We saw them play their first full series together last week, and there have been some shifts to the roster. Right? We don't have Moon Lady on her notorious Joker anymore, and we also don't have Willie, our home Shoto player.
Right.
So, with the introduction of AJ on Falco, as well as Nibstafa on Wolf, names who have been on the roster for a while now as very strong subs, which I like to mention that in Smash broadcasts of old that I've gotten to do. I've always bragged about our subs, and here they are. Very proud of them. But, Kevin, let's talk about them. How did they look last week?
They looked phenomenal. It started off with a strong out-of-the-gates performance by Shenandoah in the first round of the crew battle, only to get halted by this superstar Ken player. It wasn't until that sort of developed and the coaches started to strategize, okay, we know who our superstar players are, the rest of the team need to sort of adapt to what's going on, and we saw that, like, Alex Nibstafa performed phenomenal. AJ, when it needed most, he clutched up. He was able to take stocks with his legendary Falco. And in the end, it shut down with a Yoshi going in 3 stocks of his own against 6. And I don't know what awoken in Igloo at that moment, but I talked to him before we did his interview, and the man was like, wait, I took 6 stocks? I'm like, yeah, you took 6 stocks and you didn't lose a single one. That's insanity. But he was so laser focused. He wanted the win and he knew how to get it. And that's what's going to be key throughout the rest of tonight and going forward for this season, is our players understanding their game plans, their strategies, and we're going to see the fruit of their labor here tonight.
Yes, and you make a great point. I only mentioned that 2 names are now missing. That leaves 2 names that were here last semester that are still here, and that is Igloo on our resident Yoshi,
Let's go,
and
Yoshi.
Kip, our lovely Pac-Man player. And in our series last week, we definitely saw, I think I said it during the broadcast, experience matters. And
Yes.
that went to Game 3, that came down to the wire. And in those marathon matches, experience shows. It mattered a lot in that series. And sure enough, Igloo going in very cold-blooded, going in calm, steady, taking 6 stocks like it was nothing. And like you said, we talked to him before the interview, before he came on camera, and I was like kind of prepping him with what questions I might ask. I don't know, just like walking through my train of thought, and he went, I didn't play the Ryu or whatever. And I was like, you did.
Yeah. It was the Lucas. He was
yeah, it was the Lucas. You're right. Yeah, he was like, I didn't play Lucas. I was like, yes, you did. Like, you took 6 stocks. He was like, oh, right.
Yeah.
He was that dialed in. And that's incredible to see from any competitor in anything ever, right? If you're able to really lock in on the moment and do your job, know your job and do your job successfully, it was incredible to watch, and I'm so excited to watch more of it tonight.
Absolutely. With all of that being said, it does sound like we need to do a little bit of work on our end, wouldn't you say?
Yes. Yeah, it sounds like we may be having some technical issues with some of the players, but we are going to take a quick break and get back to you as soon as we're ready to go. So don't go anywhere. Shouldn't be too long.
Does realize that though. Claviella gets 1, trying to get the second, does get that second, 3 down on the side of Wheeling College. Now it's a 1v10 as Ryu gets that first pick. Oh, Aries, good for 2. For
last player is. Aries gonna get the kill anyway. Gets the second one off the DP.
Buzz finds that first pick, and Fabiola looking to get really aggressive, trying to push this. Their backside, he picks up that second now. And done. 5v2 situation.
Players off guard, but Ultra League has Diego unlocked. Notice his power, notice his one, notice the other. Going to get the neutral here as a couple trades come in on either side. It's a 3v2 here. Ryu picks off another one. Ryu picks off a third kill this round as there's one last kill there for Ryu. But it's some neutral there for Ringling, but Ryu's gonna kick one. Ultra League goes down. Thursday gets burned. Aries Close taking down. Power taking. They're playing 5-man pushes right now.
Yeah.
Just essentially playing trades, and they're playing pretty slow, but it worked out there as their patience paid off, as we're going to see very aggressive plays mid here from both sides. Power gets one, gets another, Blue picks up one, Power gets the third, Ryu goes down, Power is very close. I don't think they cleared him. I don't think they know that Ryu is here.
Oh, here we go.
Ryu, trigger this one.
Here does try and help that support as Robo and Ultra League get their pick. Bomb is planted though. Ultra League has a beautiful flash and Sergio takes it up here.
Oh, and a few players, but a huge flash comes in from Ringling. Nobody's looking for Ryu as 4 goes different on the B. A few shots put down there from Claviella. Not going to get anything, but Cersei is going to pick up 3. As there's now 1 player remaining. As Noble picks up Airy. Truly gonna go heaven here. Spots the bomb plant. Gonna be able to take him down. That's a huge pick there for Ult to go for the defuse. Is he gonna get it? He does! The sneaky defuse.
I believe that the side of Royal College is trying to push out. Does get a massive stun. Ultra League gets 2. Realizes the third in the cubby. Oh, gets a 4th. Can they get a 5th? Or a 4th? Predators they are. And Turbo is gonna take a Claviella now 21.
But Shannon Fleet, no follow-up there, no boost available for Mango after he misses that aerial. But Mango again trying to redeem himself. A limb with a pass off of Mount St. Mary's player. Blocked there by Katie. Able to keep the ball out of there. Keep it in the close game. Yaz is going to follow up from mid there. Really well executed in the communication there from Shannon.
Full speed Ryuk is going to be able to find a kill onto the Cypher. And now that's the heal and support down. Claviella trying to escape with the break this game.
1v2 situation again, but all
Really matters. Eliminate is able to still just get the tag off. Mango tries to go for a tap off the ceiling. It's a pass to Kiyashi for the first.
yeah, Demo is coming back and forth. Traded across the board here between Mount St. Mary's and Shenandoah. Mango off the wall, however, able to salve Mount St. Mary's on the attack.
Yeah, and right now a big attack forming from Mount St. Mary's. Fuzzy, is he going to be able to get on the end of that? Clear it? No, he can't. Mango.
And really, Mango sees that opportunity and strikes, tying up this game. 1-2 left now. And answers right back, Kiyazi.
Right now, both teams looking absolutely stalwart in their defenses as another big save. But Eliminate is going to find the back.
An unintended obstacle, yes. We can see some.
Welcome back. We have returned, and now, from what I understand, it sounds like all the players are ready to play. So we should be getting in any minute now. Kevin?
Yes.
We were talking earlier
Yes.
about our roster, right? Our roster looks a little bit different from last semester. We saw them in practice for the first time last week. Our subs,
Right.
who were our subs, in AJ on Falco and Mustafa on Wolf, looked great last week.
Absolutely. They did phenomenal. When it comes to going in to a crew battle setting, there are so many, like, the weight builds on you. And when it comes to these players, they've had experience before, but not as much as some people on the main roster. And because of that, there's always that question. There's always that doubt that everyone has as to, are they really up to it? Like, can they pull it off when the time comes? And the answer, this time around, yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm so happy for them.
Yeah, they looked great, and we got a little bit into the experience that's still starting for us, right? Igloo and Kip looked great last week. Kip started us on that run that looked so promising to start last week, and then Igloo closed it out at the very end. So very, very strong showing from our team last week. Now, enough about last week. Let's talk about who we're facing today. University of Kentucky, one of the blue bloods, if you will.
Yes.
For those of you who watch traditional sports.
Unstoppable in nature.
Yeah, there you go. So, obviously, with the nature of crew battles and Smash Bros. As a whole, there's only so much we can predict. There's only so much we can look into. From what we understand, it sounds like we will be up against presumably a Greninja player, maybe some Cloud, maybe a little bit of Toon Link. What do you think about all that? How do you think we're going to do against those?
They're interesting characters for me because Shenandoah has a lot of experience against most of the roster. There have been players in the past who have had some very diverse character selections, and because of that, a lot of these players have gotten the experience for that. Ridley is not one of them.
Correct.
Cloud, yes.
Kinda.
Greninja, I have not. We had a Greninja our freshman year. My freshman year, excuse me. That was 4 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
Lord.
But it's the fact that these characters are not very popular in nature. You don't find them a lot online unless you're like actively searching for them and like reaching out to people who play those characters and saying, hey, I want warm-ups. So, because of that, my biggest go-into for this series, and I hope all of you at home are keeping an eye on this too, is you're going to see a lot of fundamental play, where it's not so much calling out your opponent's options for what they're throwing out. It's not going to be much of a whiff-punish game as much as you might expect in a lot of other matchups. What you will expect to see is more traditional, like, I know my character, I know where their combo starts, and that's the sort of game plan I expect to see going in. But at the same time, a lot of these players behind me are truly, like, they have so much experience in this game that I could be speaking a little bit off from what I have seen in this setting, in this crew battle setting. They have lots of tournament experience. Some of them go to Super Smash Con every year. Like, you have so many opportunities to play against these characters, but in terms of what we see here on the broadcast, this is going to be one crazy time.
Yeah, and you make a good point. Something that's important to keep track of in this specific matchup, but in any crew battle, is that these teams are not playing from the same location as well. We are in Shenandoah Esports Arena in Winchester, Virginia, as I like to say at the start of all of our streams. Kentucky is still in Kentucky, and they're playing from Kentucky, which makes this an online game. And when we go to these tournaments, like we mentioned, SmashCon or any weekly that our players or their players may go to, there's a certain thing called internet lag, internet delay, if you will, where in a game like this, in a fighting game, that can make or break your strategy, your outcome. It plays a massive factor in any game, really, but especially in fighting games where your reactions need to be primed. So not only does that matter in any matchup, but specifically with characters like Toon Link.
Yes.
I won't even go as far as to say expecting, but in the research we've been able to do, right, we know that there are characters that seem to succeed more in an online setting. And we may see some of that today.
Yes, and while Toon Link is the textbook answer, and it has come through on our broadcasts a couple of times. There's been Toon Links who show up, and a lot of our roster will be like, who do we send in? Who beats Toon Link? And the answer is nobody really knows.
Yeah.
Because the character is uncommon. And when your character is uncommon like that, it's a matter of just kind of saying, I think I have the strongest fundamental understanding of the game, and I'm going to send myself in. And then you just kind of have to go from there. But the other character that I'm interested to see is the Greninja we were talking about earlier. Because in a similar sense, in an online setting, when your character has good shield pressure, Greninja has his nice dash attack and is able to sort of dance around what you have going on if you're in your shield. Because of that, and that little bit of extra delay, it's going to allow for more, it's going to be more difficult for players to get their punishes off at proper times. But at the same time, these players have been playing online for the entire time they've been at Shenandoah University, which means I expect them to not have any issues with it. So hopefully everything will go pretty smoothly.
Yeah, you certainly think that after a certain amount of time you become accustomed to that slight delay that comes anytime you press any button in your game. Oh, yeah. But it's hard to practice for, right? Anytime you go to practice against one of yourselves, right? If you practice within the team, you're not going to have any input delay. Like, it's going to be frame one, the moment you think to press your button, it's already coming out. But we don't have that luxury when it comes to actual competition. So it's just an interesting dynamic. Again, not something that's particularly special about tonight, just something that happens every night in Smash Bros. We should be getting into game here pretty soon. But I'm curious if you think that matters to other teams. Like, we generally associate input delay and laggy online characters with, at least in my head, projectiles.
Yes.
Do you think Pac-Man counts as one of those characters that thrives in an online setting?
I think Pac-Man will have benefits when it comes to what I would consider the early game of a Pac-Man stock, which is getting your Galaga set up, getting your combo started. It's going to be a matter of finishing the stocks that would become more problematic unless Pac-Man's going for Bell, because then the Bell becomes harder to react to. But at the same time, I do think it's something that a lot of teams take into account. Last semester, there was a team, superstar Incineroar player, and I was super excited to see this Incineroar. He did not play Incineroar, he played Rob, and because he played Rob, I was able to ask. I asked the players, why do you think he gave up on the Incineroar? I feared in this tournament setting you would want to do that. And the answer was online delay. Is as much as I love playing this character, when you have something that you need to be timing, when that opponent's flying at you and you clothesline them, there's that delay, and it's not always consistent. It would be one thing if it was consistent, 3-frame delay or something like that, but it could sway so much in the course of a match. And so because of that, they said, I'm just going to play Rob, I'm going to use my projectile game, and I'm going to be using fundamentals of the character. Notice I said fundamentals again. That is probably going to be the theme of tonight. So I'm excited. Yeah,
and not only does input delay and lag vary from within a series or within a game, but it can be from match to match, right? If you look at a map of the United States, right, we're going to be playing opponents from all across the country, and even outside of the country. I believe it was it last semester or maybe 2 semesters ago last year when we played an opponent, I believe, from Guam.
Yeah.
That was incredible to watch. That was the most unique Smash Bros. Competition I think I've ever seen. Yeah. And you're right, though, because it came down to just fundamentals. Everything creative, anything you think you might have to adapt to or make decisions on the fly kind of gets thrown out the window because you're pressing buttons and you don't see them happen for like 5 whole seconds. Yeah. Now, obviously, that's extreme. That was an outlier that is just now fun to talk about. But point being, right, there's really no way to get accustomed to it, and it's just an interesting factor in any game. Now, let's talk matchups a bit because we have a pretty good feel for what we're going to see from Kentucky today, and obviously we feel great about what we're going to see from our guys. Last week we saw Kip on our Pac-Man go out first in the first set, and that worked great, but we changed it.
Yes. In my mind, Kip does an amazing job of really like playing to his game plan and having the opponents have to react to it, which is why he succeeded so well in the first crew battle, is because Kip is sent in, and then they send in one player, the player can't really figure it out, 3 stocks gone. The next player can't really figure it out, another 3. But meanwhile, a player in the back is saying, I think I know how to deal with this now. They pick Ken, and then suddenly, bam, momentum swings.
Yeah.
And so in this, I'm expecting to see, we may send him in again just to sort of feel it out. Like, okay, who has the answer? Who has the answer to this Pac-Man? We have this safety net right now. We can figure out who we should be worried about and who we're okay sending in some other players. But at the same time, it very well could be that we know which players are hot right now, who's really up and moving, and because of that, we may see Mustafa start first. That was a very traditional thing while I was on the team, and a year ago was if Mustafa was ready and feeling comfortable, a lot of times he would start the match. It really just depended on how you feeling in the day.
Yeah, and it's interesting, you know, we have this concept of an anchor player sometimes, right? You know, usually you want your best player to be last for that safety net, like you mentioned. But we kind of noticed, at least last week, that our best player maybe in the moment, and maybe our best player period, it's kind of hard to put a pin on who our best player is. But we sent him out at different times, and that's what's so much fun about these crew battles, is that anything can change at any given time, and it's so dependent on how your opponent is approaching the game and how they think, how you think. But enough strategy. We know who's coming out first, and sure enough, it will be our same starter from last week. Kip will be entering this series on Pac-Man against Kentucky's Toon Link. We called it.
Yes, so let's break down this matchup a little bit. When it comes to Pac-Man, we've seen it before. The fire hydrant comes down and it blocks your opponent from playing a very horizontal game plan, where it's like you running at your opponent. Generally, you have to jump through it or you have to get rid of the hydrant. And when it comes to that, Toon Link has a lot of horizontal coverage with the boomerang and the arrow, but as we see, Toon Link, when in the advantage, when having the space, does a very good job of really controlling just that. But at the same time, you have Kip, who's able to dance around this Toon Link's abilities, these shields, calls out the arrow and takes a stock with an orange, and because of that, Shenandoah is taking the lead to start this off.
Yeah, certainly online advantage seemingly favoring Shenandoah so far, as Kip looked very much in control pretty much from the start, right? Fully shielding 2 Toon Link up Bs, right? Well before he even started, so, or at least in fighting game terms, but enough of that, right? We see plenty of projectiles coming out from both sides. Like you said, this horizontal gameplay, sort of online abusing the delay as much as you can. And I guess abusing is a bad word, right? Because everybody's going to do it, and it's just part of the strategy. But nonetheless, we see what started as a relatively even game. Kip takes control, finds a bell, and caught it again. We'll see if he's able to get punished. A very aggressive play, but well defended by Kentucky's Toon Link here. But Pac-Man back up on the stage, and we are at midfield. High percentages, relatively high percentages, right? Any combo could find a kill on either side.
Yes, and when it comes to what we've seen so far, I love to see that Kip has been able to call out these Toon Link up Bs. It's a great out of shield option, and a lot of players will go for it. But now we're starting to see the adaptation. Notice Toon Link feeling the pressure in the shield, but then opting for the roll and saying, I am not going to make that mistake again. And because of that, the momentum's starting to even out just a little bit, but at the same time, Kip, having to drop the bell because of the bomb, gets the grab, goes for the back throw, and that takes the stock. With that, Pac-Man at 100%, 2 forward airs, 1 good forward tilt, and just leaving it at that. Again, a very nice string to just sort of drag your opponent on the horizontal, and because of that, we will see the pressure begin to build up again, as when Toon Link has the center stage and Pac-Man is off to the left or the right, that just means more opportunity to string your opponent across the stage. You got to be really careful with where you're playing and what punish game you have, as we do see Toon Link opting to control the center stage, saying, I'm not going to go for anything too crazy, but at the same time, I will look for this opportunity to take this last Pac-Man stock. Stocks are everything in a crew battle, and because of that, 1 solid key, and Toon Link's at 112, bell in hand, immediately runs up with the dash bell and closes it out, says, you're not going to be ready for this one. Bonk, and lets it rip.
Yeah, and I was about to say, like, you can't help but think that, as you said, stocks are your life, right? This is how you adapt. We talked about it last week. This is your time to adapt and survive and win the game, right? Are your stocks. When you're down 3 stocks to 1, you can't help but feel the pressure, and I think we saw it a little bit toward the end of that game. Kip on Pac-Man really took control of that game toward the end, and I don't know, very, very clean gameplay, sound, experienced gameplay, and we see a very nice 3-stock to start this series.
I want to acknowledge, when it comes to fighting games, there's a very real factor that plays in every single one of them, which is tempo. When you go into a game, we see it a lot with Kip. Kip plays a little slow to start. He's like, okay, let's see what my opponent likes to do. How do they answer? Do they like to roll in, away? Do they have an out-of-shield option? Do they just like to hit buttons? Whatever. All of those are very real strategies, including the button one. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
But because of that, it's very demanding on the player to say, okay, I have my reading options. I know what I want to look for, and this is where my punish game comes in. It's called your burst range. For Kip especially, we saw it at the end of that last game, where he sits, grabs the bell, and it's like, Toon Link's getting a little too close for someone who has been sitting back trying to get a confirm off of boomerang or arrow. And because of that, he just says, I'm going to let this rip. You got a little too close for comfort. Suddenly, there's a bell in your face, you're stunned, and suddenly, again, there's a ghost right here.
In your face.
Yeah.
All around very clean performance, and we will see if we see that Toon Link in the next series, right? That's a long wait, a long time to think about getting 3-stocked, but that's the beauty of these crew battles, among many other things, is that now we get to talk the strategy behind the scenes, right? The strategy that saved us last week on our end.
Yes.
Last week, Shenandoah came out to a very early lead, eerily similar to this one. We then saw a very controlling player come out for the side of the team we played last week.
Yes.
And they took like 7 stocks of their own out of nowhere, completely killed Shenandoah's momentum, and took the game 1.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I certainly am not going to say that we expect to see that, but if you're Kentucky, it's hard to say that it's hard to expect that they looked at our last week's matchup, but who do you send out to, like I said a lot last week, put out the fire?
Yeah. So, from what we know, it comes down to a lot of these hard-hitting, commanding players. And when it comes to Pac-Man, you usually want something that can cover a good amount of space, because Pac-Man likes to control of it, as much of it as he can. Fire Hydrant commands more than just the little spot that it's on. There's water pushing you away, you have to jump over it, you can't throw stuff through it 90% of the time. But because of that, I think characters who are able to control, command that space are great options. Maybe not necessarily projectile-based, but more so sword-based. I think Cloud would be a really strong start here. The only scary thing, and what we saw against, I believe it was Eastern Tennessee, is that when you have a character with a very linear recovery against Pac-Man, you need to know when you snap onto the ledge. Otherwise, the water will push you away and you will lose a stock. And again, stocks are your lifeline throughout all of this. You need to hold on to those things, and as long as you're comfortable with that, I think the matchup is good. If you're still a little shaky on your recovery, maybe you want to save yourself for something else.
And this was something we saw last week. I don't mean to keep alluding to last week where some of you may have missed it, but Pac-Man,
go watch after.
Yeah, go watch. Pac-Man played against I believe it was a Mario in the very first, or no, it was a Shulk, excuse me.
Yep.
In the very first matchup of the first series of the first game, like the first game of Smash that we saw last week, was a Shulk against that Pac-Man. And the recovery you're talking about got 2 very quick and almost cheesy stocks off of that Shulk. We did not see much gameplay because that Shulk did not do exactly what you just mentioned, right? You will get pushed away. You will get thrown off in your recovery. And characters with bad recovery, like a Shulk, like a Cloud, I don't know, need to be aware of that. And we know that Pac-Man, or Kip specifically, is comfortable in those scenarios. So we'll see who Kentucky sends out here pretty soon.
Yes, and I do want to acknowledge the fact that it is so important for comfort in these sorts of situations. I talked earlier about the Toon Link matchup where people on our side are very like, I don't know who we send out type of deal. Just send whoever's the most fundamentally sound. The same goes on the other side usually for Pac-Man. Not a lot of people have experience against Pac-Man. Not a lot of people are comfortable in that situation, and because of that, you really do sort of see these players send out like, I think I would do fine. And then they're thrown into the mix. They're thrown into the blender of Galaga combos and hydrants getting in their way. And suddenly they're like, oh, this is a little bit more complicated than I thought. It's usually after the first part of the crew battle that we see more stocks being taken onto Kip, where people start to really understand the strategy of how do I get around? Can I get around?
Yeah, that's a great point. We're pretty spoiled to have such an amazing Pac-Man player here on campus and helping us learn this pretty unique character. But speaking of unique characters, Kevin, what is that across from Pac-Man?
That is a me wearing wearing the helmet of the Black Knight from Fire Emblem. It's a Mii sword fighter. There are 3 different classes of the Miis, and the sword fighter is one of the more unique ones. You have the brawler, who's very fisticuff, fight you in your face. You have the gunner, who plays a very ranged-based game, and then you have sword fighter. And when I say take up space, that is exactly what the character does. Not only with the sword, it may not be incredibly big compared to Cloud's, but you do have these projectiles and these moves that dash you forward and cover space that way. So I'm curious to see what Kip's response will be throughout this battle.
Kevin, I have a question for you. Something I know about Smash Bros. Is, and I like to think that I know a pretty good amount of Smash Bros. Mii characters have different movesets.
Yes.
Are you required to use a certain moveset, or is this character customizable, as we do see Kip find his first stock on a great Bell confirm? But is this Mii Sword Fighter forced to use a certain moveset?
No. As of Ultimate, you are allowed to use whatever moveset you want.
Wow.
Originally, in Smash 4, the Miis were either not allowed or you had to be very deliberate in what moveset you picked. Because of that, it really is a master of surprise sort of character. Every special move this character has can be swapped out, but we do see the shuriken, the side slash, the up B where it goes up and then down like you would expect from a Cloud, from an Ike, etc. But as another Bell connects, catching out the jump, we do see sort of what this Mii Sword Fighter is looking for. They are much more in pace with the Pac-Man, trying to stay close, trying to not let Pac-Man get that setup. A very nice shuriken into side special combo, something that I have not seen very often.
Yeah, this certainly is.
Oh,
wow,
my God.
Great Bell onto the ledge. The Mii Sword Fighter wasn't even able to find his way back on stage. Great kill confirm there from Kip, but you make a great point. This is, and I should clarify, we talk about these different movesets. The Mii Sword Fighter cannot change his moveset mid-game.
Yes.
But once he's chosen his moveset before the game, it is set in stone. But this is not one that I've seen very often, right? I'm used to seeing those tornadoes come out and that ring projectile.
Yeah, the chakra.
You talk about occupying space. That's what I think of. This is a very unique moveset. That's
what I'm thinking, is that this is not the kind of thing that I normally see, but we are seeing sort of what strategy comes out with this game plan. The Mii Sword Fighter has done a lot of the shuriken and tries to follow it up with the side special as often as he can. And because of that, Kip does have to shield a little early if he wants to not take any damage. But at the same time, the Mii Sword Fighter is using that ability to punish the game plan.
Whoa.
Kip going for a hydrant setup that easily would have taken, at least sent the Mii Sword Fighter off stage. A very nice combo sent out. The hydrant not spewing out any more water. The trip off of the down air. Again, another interaction that I have not seen before. Oh my goodness.
What was that?
That, again, another interaction that I have not seen. This character's wild, man.
Man, these Mii fighters know how to keep it interesting. I mean, we're seeing new things that we have not seen in our casting careers. But nonetheless, very high percentage Kip at 170%, a very high percentage Mii Sword Fighter at 140%. Basically, any hit would put it away.
Ooh,
that will not do it. I take that back. Surely one more from either side will do it, and we do see Pac-Man lose one more stock. That is critical for this Mii Sword Fighter, who is on pace to lose this game so far, but taking these stocks are so valuable, as we will see.
Way.
The Apple connect last minute off of multiple bounces and find just enough power to knock this Mii Sword Fighter all the way into the blast zone.
That lingers for so long,
That
Chris.
was wild. That was one of the Smash games that I will probably remember for a long time and for random reasons.
You know the whole, like, apple a day keeps the doctor away type thing. You don't want to know why the doctor stays away? Because the apple lingers for that long.
So hard.
Yeah. It's like a bag of bricks.
Yeah.
What was that?
If your doctor's at 150%, he's going to hate that.
Yeah. But with all of that being said, that was probably one of the more unique matchups that I've seen recently, because when it comes to Mii Sword Fighter, you hit it like dead on, nail on the head, because it's all tornado, it's all chakram, which is fine. That's what people do. They expect you to shield, and then they will run up, and then they'll grab you, down throw, and juggle you in the air, where you're either going to land and get hit by another tornado, or you're just going to get hit by the Mii Sword Fighter.
Right.
That's the strategy. Seeing that moveset for Pac-Man worked to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Because the Mii Sword Fighter was able to take 2 stocks off of Pac-Man, which is what you would want, assuming that this was the start of the crew battle. Like, that's, if you're going to go down, that's all you could ask for. But this isn't the start of the crew battle. Shenandoah still has the lead, 10 stocks to 6. And because of that, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that Mii Sword Fighter again try to dance with Kip and potentially try to knock him out another time. But that all relies on, is Mii Sword Fighter, do you think that Mii Sword Fighter will stay the answer? Because those shurikens and those side specials were taking out the hydrant, but then after a certain point, Kip is punishing it by just sort of jumping over and saying, your back's exposed, and throwing him off the stage.
Yeah, and we see the adjustments that we see in every Smash Bros. Game, right? We've talked plenty about it, kind of getting a download on your opponent. It'll be interesting to see, right? Kip only has 1 stock left, so he won't have much time to get a download in this upcoming game. But, I mean, you know what I'm going to hit you with? Who puts out the fire now? This is eerily similar to last week, where Kip went on a tear to start, but it felt like we blinked and it was a tie game.
Yes.
You think a Greninja can take a stock off a Pac-Man without getting in too much danger?
I think it can. You just got to be careful, because again, Greninja's combo starter is his dash attack. That's a dash attack and down tilt, which are very horizontal type moves, and when you're dealing with that hydrant in your face, it's the same reason why people hate blocks with Steve, is because you have to jump.
Right, yeah.
And because of that, I wouldn't be surprised we could see the Greninja, but the Greninja needs to be confident that they can close out this stock without without bleeding too much more.
And we saw that with the Ken last week, right? He came out swinging. Absolute pedal to the metal. I need to take this one stock before you do anything to me, and we all move on with our day. And in that series, the Ken was a little sloppy and let a couple kill confirms slide and end up losing a stock, but he still went on to take like 7. Yeah. But that strategy is very real, right? Coming out and just saying, I have nothing to lose. We are down 4 stocks. I just need to get rid of your one.
Right.
And it tends to work.
Yeah, so with all of that being said, I do hope to see that sort of game plan going into this, because that's a situation that Kip hasn't had to respond to just yet. But the matchup we've got, oh my goodness,
wow.
Another character who we weren't expecting to see today,
Man.
but only brought up because I was talking about how difficult the character is to play in an online setting. Chris, the muscular cat, Tony the Tiger himself, is back on the field. Incineroar versus Pac-Man.
I'm glad that earlier I said that research in these games is hard to do, because I guess what are we talking about? If we're going to see a Mead Sword Fighter and an Incineroar come out in these matchups, why do we bother, Kevin? Whatever. I'm going to stop complaining, as we do get to see another very unique matchup, right? These characters are not common, as we see Kip find a 100% combo onto Incineroar. He might get a stock off that.
Amazing bell drop from the side of Kip, able to call out the Incineroar, sitting in the place saying, I'm going to hold my shield for a little bit, but suddenly there's a bell, I can't hold it forever. As now Galaga combos starting to come out. Pac-Man combos galore. Incineroar just getting off the respawn platform and is already at 83%, while Kip is sitting at a nice 50 as the oranges are being thrown out, and Incineroar is the one to answer. Thrown off stage, the bell's there again. Oh my goodness, the stun.
Oh my
thrown onto the
lord.
platform. He doesn't tech it, and Pac-Man gets an up smash, and that closes that stock.
This is incredible. We talked about this sort of run-at-you style that we expected to see. Just take the stock and get out. Well, now we're seeing Kip, just answer. He was ready for it, for everything this Incineroar has tried to do. And it's almost like Incineroar's falling into these combos, taking 80% without even getting a hit in, and before you know it, you miss a tech and you're dead.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing when it comes to Incineroar, is you're a big character and you're very slow. And because of that, Pac-Man is just racking up the percent one after another. But you have to be careful, because just about anything takes stocks. And when it comes to Pac-Man, a bell into the up smash again, closes it. And Kip's feeling good.
I'm losing it over here. We might see it. I mean, Kip could go the distance at this rate. That was incredible. I mean, he took 3 stocks without it. It never even felt like he got hit. I mean, he was at 100% by the end of that game, but he was so... Okay, we said we haven't seen Kip need to adapt to that sort of almost kamikaze level aggression.
Like
and that felt like the perfect answer. He was ready for everything.
Yeah. And I mean, talk about a character who really has what you need in that sort of situation, because he was able to play around a character that is known for taking stocks early, for really denying, shutting down whatever game plan you have going, and while not always having the best answer to projectiles, having that revenge mechanic, which means if you're going to keep throwing random stuff at me, I'm going to capitalize on it. You need to be deliberate, and Kip was deliberate. Everything had a plan, and because of that, we saw stocks taken in some of the more crazy ways.
Man, and we talk about setups a lot with Kip, right, with these, specifically the bell, but a lot of his projectiles. But mother of God. Yeah. I mean, that was art. We just witnessed art, you and I.
Yeah.
Because those combos were gorgeous. I mean, he found bells that I never could have expected to connect, and he was always ready for a follow-up. Like you said, everything was deliberate. Everything felt planned, and there was always a follow-up. That was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Very well done from our Kip player. Our Kip player. What am I talking about? Our Pac-Man player.
Pac-God, right there. There he is.
Give him the credit he's due. He has now taken 9 stocks, Kevin.
Yeah, and while that is the case, there is one more person, and generally that's the anchor. And when it comes to anchors have a lot of knowledge of the game. Oh my Lord. Goodness.
Kevin, what are we talking about?
All right. Well, when it comes to diverse character pools, This is one of them. MWIII is the kind of character that you see in a counter-pick situation. If there are not a lot of characters that have answers to MWIII, but the few who do seem to run over the character, and because of that, I'm wondering if they were hoping to save MWIII for some of the other characters that SU has who are very box heavy, who need to get close when you have two fists in your face trying to wall you out. But because of that, suddenly this MWIII has to deal with a Pac-Man. And because of that, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Kip being more of the aggressor this match, trying to get in and punish this MWIII, and whenever they can, get as much percent rolling as possible. But you gotta be careful with what space you control, because those fire hydrants won't do much when there's a dragon fist in your face.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was just about to talk about. We've seen an interesting interaction a couple times already this game, in that this MWIII can really beat up on these fire hydrants before Kip has an opportunity to really set them up, right? Hit them as many times as he needs to before he wants to launch it. Before he knows it, the fire hydrant is flying at him and hitting him. But we see an even game, and we'll see if that trend will continue. But sure enough, we do see a hydrant combo there, and now a very dangerous Bell comes out, and he will find the stock onto the MWIII, dropping Kentucky to 2 stocks remaining in this set.
Yes, and again, you gotta be careful when it comes to these bells. You can't be too safe. If Pac-Man has that bell, expect him to throw it out on a whim. Don't be going for your neutral get up. He will just hit you with it. He does not care. It doesn't put him in much lag, and it guarantees stocks. But because of that, now we're seeing the percentage start to even up again. The Megawatt comes out, and the jump does take the stock off of Kip, with Kentucky having 2 stocks remaining, SU having 3 players remaining.
Man, I mean, talk about a start, right? Yeah. For Kip, that was an incredible showing. 10 stocks in exchange for 3. We'd take that trade any day. Now, let's talk a little bit about what we saw from that MWIII, right? You mentioned the range and the zone control, even better than Pac-Man could dream of doing.
Only something that $5.99 will get you.
Fair enough, yeah. Now, with that range,
yes,
comes a weakness in short range, right? I mean, like, inherently. Who do you think, I have my answer, but I'm curious, who do you think Shenandoah sends out to answer this one?
See, this is
hard.
Yes, it is. And because you have characters who, MWIII covers the ledge so well, but also has great center stage control. And because of that, as much as I would love to say, let's throw Nimstafa in there, because he would have these crazy strings going horizontal, it's a dangerous game. And because of that, I would probably put it in either the hands of Igloo or AJ. And because it really boils down to, you have Falco combos, you got these combos that string together, and you keep MWIII in the air, which is such a beautiful tool. And it's exactly what you need. On the other side of that, Yoshi. And Yoshi's the kind of character that is so, like, has the strong shield game, has the ability to armor through the fist and then start doing some crazy sort of footsie combos.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's probably going to be the Yoshi, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that was my pick. I think the Yoshi makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons, as well as I talked about it a lot before the series, the experience, right? We've seen Igloo come out and close out games in the past. I mean, it's been 1 week and we've already seen it happen. He's 1 for 1. So he's batting 1,000. You get in the Hall of Fame for that.
Right.
So that would be my pick. But you make a good point. Like, I think any of the people could do it. And frankly, we have 3 people to take 2 stocks. I don't know that there's a wrong answer in this situation, but I think the best answer would be Yoshi. Now, it could be, for the sake of almost experience, right? You have to think long term. Do you let the younger guys get reps?
I think there's an argument for that. There's also the argument that you don't want to show your hand just yet.
That's fair.
If you send in someone who can't take the stocks, suddenly you're revealing a little bits and pieces of their game plan. What are their habits, their default defensive options? And that's gold in this. If you know how to punish people and are very keen on where they're rolling or what sort of options they do when you hit a move that may not have a follow-up, suddenly it becomes detrimental, and you could get so much value off of that. As much as I think getting reps in would be valuable, it's a dangerous game. And I think there's a place for it, but it's not in the first round of the crew battle. It would be 2 and beyond.
Fair. Yeah. And, you know, we are spoiled by information, right? We have the luxury of knowing the players behind us, who they play, how they play. We've seen them play more than anybody else in the country. Unless Kentucky people are watching our stream, which if you are, like, welcome, but stop listening.
That's not true. Drop a follow.
Yeah, hey, follow us while you're here. They theoretically might not know who we play, and you're right. That information is extremely valuable, but enough speculation, we do see it will be AJ on the Falco trying to take these 2 stocks and put this set away.
And here's exactly what I was talking about, keeping Min in the air, keeping Min off the stage as much as you can, but also look at the stage choice. Because Falco has so many platforms to play around, it's allowing for him to dance around these Min arms, and AJ coming out the gates playing some of the most perfect Falco you can expect from a Falco player. That was true to form bread and butter combos, and that was beautiful.
And near perfect. I don't think he was quite at 0%, but he basically was. He was at like single digits.
Oh,
very, very well done. An aggressive move from AJ. Unfortunately does not connect, but with 1 stock remaining, this could be over before we know it.
Yes, and I mean, look at the pressure he exudes from just being above Min, and Min doesn't have great answers for characters above. Sure, you have the up smash, but it covers only so much range, and because of that, we see Falco sort of dancing around, using the double jump to bait out options, as Min is the one throwing out the arms as much as possible to really keep up the pressure while Falco's off, but when Falco's on the stage, when Falco's the one in control, it becomes so much more difficult. It's a lot of get-off-me tools coming off of the Min, and because of that, both players at 110, but AJ closing it out with a forward air, playing really solid fundamental Falco, and I love it.
That was great, and hey, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong, all right? I thought Yoshi was the move there. That looked great. Yeah. I don't think there could have been a better decision back there. So applause to the team for that decision. And just like that, Shenandoah was up 1-0 in the series. We've only shown 2 players, whereas a week before today, we were stunned after that first series. I mean, like we fell apart, frankly. So great adjustments from the team, great adjustments from Shenandoah. Good play from Kentucky as well, but Shenandoah comes out on top to start.
Absolutely. Now, as for going into this next round of the crew battle, I wouldn't be surprised if we do hold Kip in the back again. We talked about it last week. When it comes to a character or a player who is very strong, or the opponent might not have the answers in their head for, like, what do we do? That is a person you want to keep in the back. That's who you want, not necessarily to be the anchor, but you want to hold on as long as you can until they're absolutely needed. And the same thing goes for AJ. As much as he was sent in and had that stellar performance and could probably go in against someone else, you know that Falco did amazing against Min, and so why not hold on to that? Why not save it for a minute and then get another player the opportunity to sort of feel out these matchups? And that's probably the game plan going in for SU, and because of that, I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of the other players.
No, yeah, I think you made great points. And selfishly, I would love to see Kip go out and take 12 stocks right now. I have not seen that in my Shenandoah career. I know it's happened, but I don't know, whatever. I'm being selfish. As a fan, I want to see our team succeed, all right? But anyway, strategically, I think you made a great point.
Right.
To let the other guys, feel out, learn for themselves. And shoot, one of them could do even better. I mean, like, there's nothing stopping Nipstafa or Igloo from doing the exact same thing and going on an 8, 9, 10 stock tear if they can get the download we talk about.
All right. So going forward, I'm hoping that whatever sort of game plan we see, the players will adapt. I'm expecting to see a lot of the same characters that we saw before. That's generally the theme of the crew battle. Chris?
What?
Chris?
I can't help but laugh. Why do we bother trying to predict characters, Kevin? I think we need to 86 that for the rest of this broadcast.
You know what? I'll take you up on your word for that. Because this is the character that we have heard so much about before this crew battle even started. Wow. What a call out from Nipstafa. This Greninja player was on our radar, and Greninja is the kind of character that you have to respect to a certain degree because these combos, these strings are so strong, and the character is very just fundamentally sound. The reason why you don't see much of them is because they tend to go for some very out-of-pocket stuff. As you see, that down tilt in the forward smash isn't a true combo, but when you call out an air dodge like that, it will confirm. And because that, now Kentucky is the one with the stock lead for this part of the crew battle.
Yeah, and you talk about a dynamic change, right? We saw our opening player take 10 stocks before he was knocked out. And to come into the second set in this series and take the first stock is a crazy tone shift.
Yeah, there you
now,
go.
Nipstafa will find a kill and even up this series with only 70%. So still a very close game and obviously a lot of Smash left to play. But, I mean, talk about a whole different ball game as we see well, I don't want to say two players we haven't seen. One player we haven't seen for Shenandoah and potentially a player we haven't seen, or at least a character we haven't seen from Kentucky. But wow, great Smash so far and a whole different ball game.
I talked about how Wolf combos work before, and we're seeing it in full force here. The fact that Wolf can control space as well as he can. What?
I don't even know what we just saw.
It was a drag down. Greninja has a multi-hit back air. It's about 3 to 4 hits, and it doesn't have a lot of knockback for the first couple. And the last one didn't hit. It didn't send Nipstafa into the stage. It just dragged him down. But Nipstafa was saying, ain't no way you're hitting me with that sort of wacky stuff, and punches him in the face.
Yeah, a great response from Nipstafa to not fall too far behind with a somewhat cheeky kill. But I don't mean that in a bad way, right? Anybody will take whatever they get, and if you can take these early percentage kills, you'll take them any opportunity you get. Now, enough of that. We are on our last stock for both of these players. 66 to 56. Very even match, very even game so far. Lots of aggressive smash attacking from both sides. Aggressive callouts, and we'll see pretty much which one connects first, because now these percentages are starting to rack up, and a smash attack for Nipstafa specifically could put this away.
Yes, it does rely on Greninja having to fall into these Wolf smash attacks. There have been a lot of tech situations, and while Nipstafa has been covering options, the Greninja is doing a great job of playing patient and really respecting what Wolf has to offer. But at the same time, it's hitting the point where Greninja needs to get close. That up air won't take it, but when you have to get back onto the stage, when you're a character that plays so strong horizontally, and you have to be so careful off stage, wow, this is the moment where you start to panic a little bit. But as we've talked about before, experience plays a big factor. And because of that, a nice nair from the Wolf player closes it out, and Nipstafa walks away the winner.
Very, very well done. And just like that, only losing 2 stocks and getting up to 130%, that percentage is now gone. We go into our next game with a 1-stock lead. Very, very well done from Nipstafa. And again, another example of these players developing, right? You put a player who has been the opener in the past, but was not a starter last semester, and you say, hey, we've got an advantage, but we want you to go out and scope out the land. And he goes out and does that. Very well done from Nipstafa.
Against a character that we haven't seen yet, which it could have been a player playing a different character. You are allowed to swap.
Yes.
But generally that's not the case. It's very rare for people to play more than 1 to 2 characters. And while people will switch, It's not something you see in a crew
Yeah.
battle situation, but you never know. And because of that, I do want to give kudos to Nimstafa, who went in and said, all right, I know this character like the back of my hand. I know what I need to be looking for. I know how I need to close out these stocks. And even when at 130%, keeping the pressure up, saying, I know that Greninja, while having some great options, once on the ledge, I just need to cover the space. Like, I have my options to take these stocks, and this is what is needed. So kudos to him. But at the same time, I really liked that Greninja player.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very sound, just very sound Smash Bros. I mean, fast, aggressive, and clean player. So I would not mind seeing more of that, although I guess that means we lose this set, and I'd rather not do that. But
that's a good point.
Yeah, kudos to that player. That was very, very good-looking Smash. But nonetheless, Nimstafa comes out on top, and now I don't even know that I want to get into characters anymore because I'm losing my mind up here. Who is coming out? I guess let's talk broadly. Let's act like we know nothing about this other team.
Yeah.
What kind of character do you send out to take one stock from a wolf?
Let's divide it into 3 categories.
Sure.
we got our boxers. We got our brawlers. The people who want to get in your face and deal as much damage as possible. You got your zoners. I'd say those are the people who have a lot of ranged options and tend to cover a lot of space. I will consider Min Min in that category, despite that the arms are part of her.
I agree.
And then you have swordies.
Yep.
As funny as that sounds, there are a lot of swords in this game.
Correct.
In my mind, I think swordies have the best opportunity. And just like that, we get something right tonight, Chris.
We are awarded for being less specific. Man, proud of you. Well done, Kevin. Now,
Chris, there's a very important thing we need to discuss.
What's
the
that?
Mii's wearing a different outfit. The same helmet, but a different armor piece. I don't know if that means that the special moves have changed or not, but it's a very real possibility. But as things start off right now, a lot of these options are the same. It's going to be something that we want to keep our eyes on for the rest of this match.
Yeah, and I think if my eyes are not deceiving me, we've seen a neutral B and a side B, right? That is the side B that we are seeing. And those appear to be the same. But that's a great point. This could be a different Mii for all we know. And they can switch movesets between sets, just not within the game or within a single set. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing if this Mii has changed or if it's just a cosmetic change, maybe just a vibe change. But nonetheless, enough about the Mii. Wolf is up to 120%, right? This has been a very clean opening from this Mii Sword Fighter, as finding a lot of pressure, even from off stage in disadvantageous states, finding ways to get the damage down, but will not win that exchange and gets kicked promptly in the face by a wolf.
Yes, and look how deliberate the Mii is not using the up special or the down special.
You're right.
In my opinion, that's to keep that information hidden.
I think you're right.
Keep it in the back pocket. And because of that, I think Nimstafa called it out, saying, you're not going to do an up special to come back onto the stage. You're trying to save it. You're trying to hold it, and immediately got the punish. But now, closing it out with the Shuriken side B combo, the Mii Sword Fighter able to close it out. Shenandoah at 9 stocks, Kentucky at 8.
Yeah, an aggressive option from Nimstafa didn't quite work out, and that's going to happen. Will get punished by the Mii Sword Fighter, excuse me. But well done, and I hate to speculate because we've not been super accurate so far, but I do think you're onto something, right?
Yeah.
The slightly different appearance, or for all we know, this could be having the exact effect they want it to, of, hey, nothing's different. We just want you to think it's different. And I tell you, it's working against me. But I think you're right. I think this moveset has changed, and I'm very curious to see if it will change the playstyle in a full 3-stock match. But we won't see a full 3-stock v 3-stock match because Nimstafa was able to take a quick one off the Mii Sword Fighter before going down.
Yes, and in my mind, the Mii Sword Fighter up specials are generally similar in nature, except for what you can do with it out of shield. Mii Sword Fighter has the Link up special as one of the options, and that's what I would expect if it's not what we saw before. The one we saw before is very good at taking stocks, but Mii Sword Fighter going down with them type of deal, and it deals a lot of damage. The Link up special, where you spin in place or spin upwards, is a very good combo starter. And so I'm curious what sort of game plan this Mii Sword Fighter has if they were expecting not to have to deal with Pac-Man, and because of that, they wanted to go for a different option. But again, we could be overthinking it.
Yeah.
That's been the theme of today, hasn't it?
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, if you're going to listen to us, take everything we say with a grain of salt. But you know what you don't have to take with a grain of salt is when we talk about our team. We know who these people play. So, on that note, a Mii Sword Fighter with not as much zone control as we would expect from a traditional Mii Sword Fighter. Who comes out for Shenandoah?
That's a great question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm throwing this to you, admittedly, because I don't have an answer.
Yeah, on the one hand, you have these, you could answer it with these boxers. Shenandoah has a lot of boxers, but I think we saw Kip with his level of success, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him come in now. Here he is, the Pac-Man himself. And going in with the game plan of beating out this Mii Sword Fighter and potentially going forward bringing out the Min early so that AJ can respond. This is the strategy that we expect to see when you have that sort of lead, but you have to get through the Mii Sword Fighter first, and I'm very curious to see what sort of adaptations both players have made to this at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, let's not forget we just watched Kip go on a 10-stock tear to start this series, and Kentucky has 8 stocks left. I'm not going to rule anything out for the rest of this series, but for now, we can only watch what's in front of us. We have a Pac-Man against a Mii Sword Fighter, and this Pac-Man is stringing combos, and you just saw an up special. We were right. That is different than what we were expecting, Kevin.
Yes, and so with that, it is a different moveset option, and they are forced to use it, which means that now we have better information. The only thing we haven't seen yet is the down special, and I wouldn't be surprised if you're holding on to something like that for this long, it's probably a counter. It's something that you want to save for when your opponent's feeling a little too comfortable, only to get smacked back in the face. But I could very well be seeing some real crazy shenanigans as a fire hydrant domes the Mii Sword Fighter in the head.
A drop kick onto a fire hydrant will find a kill for Kip. This is fascinating to me. The mental games that are going into this Mii Sword Fighter, holding his abilities and moveset for such a long time, and I think you're right. I mean, the only thing that makes sense, I mean, I guess your down special would just kind of by nature come out less often than all of your other ones. But, I mean, I think you're right, as we will see an up smash confirm a kill onto Kip, and he will lose his first stock. I wonder if Kip is onto this.
I do think so, because look how Kip is dancing around the Mii Sword Fighter. It's nothing too crazy, no combos that go beyond a point of being true, and because of that, I think Kip is trying to stay aware, stay safe, as another fire hydrant will connect. A cherry just barely connects.
Oh my lord.
The art special brings him back. If those cherries would have taken Kip out, that would have been craziness. But the fire hydrant covering so much space, Mii Sword Fighter using the Nair to make sure that that active hitbox isn't taking any more than necessary, as a Kip back air will send the Mii Sword Fighter back off stage, goes off, gets back onto the stage as Mii Sword Fighter is at 170. Chris, just about anything could take this stock.
And Kip is occupying so much space, dropping these projectiles everywhere this Mii Sword Fighter can be. And thankfully, he's been able to shield all of them until now, and a green fruit will put it away. Wow, that was fun to talk about.
You know how we talk about mind games?
Yes.
That's fruit moves so slow, and when you're not ready for it, when Pac-Man just goes like this, you expect something to fly at you fast. You react with the intent of, I'm about to get hit with something, I need to get out of the way. Suddenly, this melon is moving really slowly across your screen. You're throwing out every option you can to dodge it as it slowly approaches you, and it still takes stocks.
Yeah.
It is purely there to call out panic options.
Yeah, and we talk about holding your weapons, keeping your cards close to your chest, right? That only works if you use it sparingly. And Kip's a very smart player, and sure enough, right, we didn't see many green fruit come out, and all of a sudden he throws a projectile, and yeah, it's moving 2 miles an hour. And you roll back, you're not ready to still get hit by the same thing you thought you just dodged. I mean, a very well done, well performed game by Kip there.
I want to give credit to that Mii Sword Fighter player. There are a lot of people who, when they have that opportunity to hold their movesets in their back pocket, don't keep it there and usually throw out their options as often as they can.
Yeah.
So when we see that they switch costumes, but they're not using the up special, that's good on them because, again, there's this whole mental game that goes into it. And so they did an amazing job for someone who's practically playing a move down and was trying to save all of that for so long.
Good
but
Lord.
look at these Pac-Man combos. Min off of the stage at 55, able to get back onto the center stage as a fire hydrant comes down from the heavens, and Pac-Man is once again keeping up the pressure. But here it is. Here's the dangerous spot, right? Min with the stage control and Pac-Man on the ledge. As much as Pac-Man is comfortable off stage, the ledge is a different game when you, again, have 2 fists flying in your face from a half a football field away. And because of that, it's going to be on Kip to sort of find his opportunity to get this stage control back or to close out these stocks. We saw one opportunity there, trying to throw out the bell, but Min ready for the response. And because of that, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more solid, like Pac-Man trying to jump around the Min and try to bail out these arm options as soon as possible, because as much as Min arms cover space, this Min is staying on MWIII, the big round orb, for a very long time, and as you see there, you don't always have to. The Dragon Fist able to take the stock just as well.
Yeah, a great kill confirmed from Min and a great adjustment too. We saw Min get up to, what, like 50% almost instantly out the gate for this game, and it almost looked nerves, like related to nerves. I don't know, but this Min has very much settled in and started to play her own game. Because at the end of the day, in any matchup between a Min and a Pac-Man, Min will be in control. Now Pac-Man will find a bell and might
Min's gone.
Kill off that. Very well done by Kip to take 1 stock before he potentially goes down, but 2 stocks remaining for this Min, and he might not have a jump. Nah, Pac-Man's fine. Of course he is.
Yeah, Pac-Man makes it back all the time, baby. And so because of that, Kip able to make it back onto the center stage. And while having to dance around these mid-min options, so many options take stocks. Letting go of the shield a little early.
Oh,
look
my
how far
Lord!
Kip is going off. Min throwing out the arms. You can't be throwing out those arms like that because you lose another stock just like that. And so Kip managing to even out this game. A MWIII coming out, and he
wow!
Barely
What?
almost lived. You know what's crazy? I think that was a hitbox shift.
Really?
I think a lot of when you're thrown off stage, a lot of people have 2 options they go for. They either air dodge, which is fine to cancel the momentum, but you lose your air dodge. Or you throw out an aerial, which allows you to fast fall. You can't fast fall while you're in this like free fall animation after you get hit. You need to throw out a move and then you can start fast falling. And it's just habit. You throw out a move so that you can fast fall, you can fall low, especially when you're Pac-Man who makes it back.
Right.
But because of that, Pac-Man must have leaned a little bit into the blast zone, and I think he just exploded.
Wow.
I could be wrong. There's
That's
so much
interesting.
more that goes into that, but that is something that has happened on this broadcast before, just not with Pac-Man.
Wow. Hey, either way, a great kill from Min and a great play from Min, right? And,
yes.
Ability to settle into that game and not panic when it started as rough as it did. Kip was all over Min to start. But great adjustment to play your game, play your distance, control the game, as a MWIII should,
Yes.
and come all the way back. Does, unfortunately, lose a stock, or 2 stocks,
Yes, 'cause Kip-
if you are Kentucky, but...
Yeah, keeping up that pressure off stage. There was one interaction that worked out the exact same way before, where it was MWIII was off stage. It was during that first string that Pac-Man got, where he was stringing the MWIII off stage, and the MWIII just immediately went for the up B and was able to snap to the ledge, but Pac-Man went for the back air to try and get that early. We see that interaction a second time, where Kip is getting this long string off stage, and MWIII goes for the arm, tries to punch Pac-Man, saying, I know you're going to be off stage, you're going to try to hit me, I'm going to punish you for it, but the arm doesn't connect, and because of that, Kip has more time to make sure that these toes hit that MWIII, and because of that, it closed out a stock incredibly early, and that's why, if your strategy isn't broken, you don't need to fix it. If you're confident that you can go for something like that, by all means, you can go for it. But it's something that you need to take with that in mind, because then you have situations like that. I'm positive that MWIII was like, I know exactly what's going to happen, and would still make it back, assuming the arm connected. But you can't always take in that guarantee, and that's where it gets a little shaky.
Yeah, it hurts. It's easy for us to sit here and look back at it and talk about what should or should not have happened. But at the end of the day, Shenandoah has a 6-4 stock lead. And for the first time, excluding first matchups, we're on the same player, right? Both of these teams are now on their 3rd player. So, still a close game, right? A 2-stock lead for Shenandoah, it can feel like a lot, but at the end of the day, a close game. And a lot of Smash left to be played, but enough of that. We have AJ in on Falco, the answer we expected to the MWIII.
Yes, now, as much as I do think that this is the answer, I'm a little worried about the stage pick. Part of what played into Falco's advantage last time was the Town and City platforms, and how AJ was so good at meticulously dancing around the MWIII arms, using the platforms to his advantage. While there are platforms on the stage, it's at the sacrifice of giving MWIII the stage control. The center of the stage has so much value in this game, and because of that, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see what we're seeing now, where it becomes a little bit more difficult for these combos to start. But once Falco finds the opportunity to get in, it's going to be a similar game to what we saw before. An amazing confirm, going for the forward air into the forward tilt and trying to close it out that way. AJ is really showing the fundamental knowledge of this character and really trying to punish these recovery options from the MWIII, but it's such a dangerous game, as now Falco is at 110, and just about any fist-based attack will take this stock. But on the other side, MWIII going for the Megawatt and then immediately switching off of it, going for the Ram, trying to get this game rolling, continue to combo this Falco. But look at this pressure once MWIII doesn't have the center stage control. This is what is so vital in this matchup, is getting MWIII in uncomfortable situations. If you need to sacrifice a little bit of percent off of your combo to keep MWIII in an awkward spot, by all means, that may be the best option, because otherwise you're dancing with the devil, and suddenly Falco barely able to make it back, goes for the up throw into the laser. It won't take the stock, a very high ceiling, a sour spot on the back air, but MWIII at 176, the Megawatt taking that stock. And now this is the dangerous game, right? This is the point where you need to be aware, and the MWIII doing a great job of really respecting what Falco is looking for, but one good arm thrown out and just missing causes Falco to land and connect one solid back air to close that out.
Yeah, very well done there by that MWIII, right? Again, to just settle in and play your own game. Maintaining stage control, as you described, looked very hard to penetrate. And we saw moments of glory, right, from AJ. It looked like he was very intelligently and safely being aggressive, if that makes sense. Being aggressive, but being aggressive at the right times and in the right ways. Unfortunately, though, it didn't work out. MWIII played the aggression very well and managed the space around her. Obviously, when you're not directly in her face, it's very easy for her to keep you out. But once AJ got in, MWIII had the answers and was able to find 2 stocks before going down. And just like that, this is only a 1 stock lead for Shenandoah. What felt like a very comfortable game, and what was a very comfortable game in the first set, is down to a 1 stock difference.
And again, I think it part falls onto the platforms on that stage. As much as I love Kalos, I play Kalos a lot. I pick it in tournament setting just because it's a stage that I'm comfortable with. There are certain matchups that you need to take into account. And when you're up against those specific characters, it's not the kind of thing you want to mess with. As much as I would love to be on that stage, you don't want to mess with a MWIII who has very good control of the stage. It's like picking Final Destination and you have no platforms.
Yeah.
It's worrying. But with all of that being said, AJ did walk out with the stock and is now going in against the final player, who last time around was the MWIII. And we just saw the Greninja player that we were hyping up so much.
Correct.
The only other character that we haven't seen, and as much as I am very scared to say this because we have been very far off this entire time, is we haven't seen this Cloud.
Yeah.
And I think that that would have a solid spot here, but as far as I know, it could be something completely different. There it is, the Toon Link. The character who we have talked about before can cause a couple of problems for the side of SU. And now, will we see this Toon Link keep up the pressure? Or do you think that AJ is going to really bring it home for the side of SU?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, right? And we've already just now seen it once. Falco and the other, Star Fox characters have these reflects, right? The shines. And what makes Toon Link so dangerous in these settings, we talked about it before any gameplay was seen, are these projectiles, how overwhelming these projectiles can be. But when you have a direct and deliberate answer to any projectile in the game, it adds a whole nother layer to how this game can go. There it is again, right? We see a bomb that Link pulled out and would have gotten hit by anyway, but reflected right back in his face, taking damage from his own projectiles. It's a whole nother layer that projectile characters don't often have to deal with because it's not a common mechanic, but it's common enough that our Falco has one.
Yes, and now I love what AJ is doing here, really dancing around these platforms and making sure that this horizontal game plan that Toon Links tend to have is not was not the game that he has to play, because when you have to deal with it, it becomes very difficult to get in, as now a good call out from the up special, goes for the down air, connects it, gets the forward air, but that won't take the stock just yet. Toon Link pulling out the bomb for the recovery and gets the up special off, throwing the bomb, going for the dash attack. These dash attacks do take stocks, so you do need to be careful. Toon Link having a lot of options that take stocks at incredibly weird percentages, but because of that, a good up special coming out from the Toon Link on the shield. AJ able to hold on the ledge, hit by the bomb, goes for the Toon Link, who's able to get back the center stage control, and goes for the forward tilt to close that out. Now the game is even.
Yeah, and that's, you could kind of see it in that gameplay. There's a meta aspect to crew battles, and I think both of those players had it in the back of their minds. Toon Link really did not want to lose that stock.
Yes.
Because this Toon Link has to go through one more player, one full player with 3 stocks after the Falco. So if AJ was able to take 1 stock there, that's a huge advantage no matter what the outcome of that game was. The 1 stock was very important, and you could feel it in how Toon Link was playing. Toon Link looked nervous. There were a lot of shield-on-shield interactions of nobody wanting to take damage when you're both at 140% and anything could put you away. Unfortunately, AJ not able to find that 1 stock, and all of that percentage gets wiped away. We have a clean slate, 3 stocks against 3 stocks, a proper 1v1 coming into our last player. And I don't know if you heard it, but I just heard it get picked behind us.
It's the Yosh.
We have Igloo coming in.
Yes, and this matchup is one that, as much as I would love to be gung-ho about and be like, SU's got this, it's a scary one.
Yes, it is.
Yoshi is a very horizontal character by nature because he has these floaty jumps. He looks to jump around and like slightly over and dance around your shield. And while Toon Link did use a lot of shield options, he does also have the boomerang, the arrow, and all of these tools to kind of keep Yoshi at bay. It's going to be on Igloo to find a stage to dance around the Toon Link, and if Igloo's comfortable, really play a more vertical game plan. It's a lot to ask for, but it's very doable.
Yeah, and look, we've seen it came up earlier. Igloo is very experienced. He's one of the veterans on the team. This is, I guess, only his second year, but he's been around for now 4 semesters. He's been a starter and a staple for 4 semesters. So he's been in these situations before, and he was in this situation a week ago today. So we will see if Igloo is able to put this away, but worst case scenario, if he's not, there's a whole nother set behind this.
Yes, and I talk about it every time I'm on this broadcast. I think of it as that trapeze act, where you're practicing and you do it once for your family and friends, and they're all cheering, they're all clapping, but then you're in the real heat of it. And when you're in the real heat of it is when you're down one, when that safety net is burned, when it is caught on fire, and it's a dangerous game you're playing. You need to be playing perfect. And while Shenandoah still does have that safety net, has that relief beneath them, you gotta be careful, because going any more into this means that the momentum is on Kentucky's side, and that is not something that you want to give to anyone. So as we go into this game, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a sort of all-in mentality saying, I will not let you get away with anything. This is the game. Yoshi versus Toon Link.
Yes, and I'm very excited to see, right? We see Igloo come out for the first time today. Now, already up to 73% against this Toon Link at 30. But dealing with the projectiles decently well so far. Lot still left to see as we see a bomb come out for Toon Link and these pretty neutral exchanges just in the middle of the stage as Yoshi is unfortunately racking up percentages all the way up to 100%. But finding combos of his own, he will get spiked and launched up into the air. 120% almost for Igloo.
Yes, look at how Yoshi is dancing around this Toon Link, trying to stay above as we were talking about before, but the Toon Link doing a great job of using the bombs to answer as opposed to the arrows and the boomerang, trying to catch Yoshi on these landings. And because of that, I think is where we're seeing the most pressure out of this Toon Link. But at the same time, Igloo going for it all and is able to connect that forward air and even up this game very quickly. One good grab from the Toon Link is sending the Yoshi off stage, but Igloo at 170 able to hold on to the stock. Amazing play from the side of Igloo.
Man, and we've talked so much about how cool Igloo can be in moments of stress, right? All the way up to 170% and on the verge of losing the first stock in the game, and I blink and he finds like 2 hits into the blast zone like it was nothing.
Look how he's dancing around death, Chris.
Yes, very, very calm Igloo, finding these connections, making reads, making roll reads and shield reads, right? Prepared for everything this Toon Link can throw out now. Still could lose this stock with almost any hit, and there it is. Igloo will drop down to 2 stocks, but Toon Link also on 2 stacks with 80% to start. A strong combo to start this second stock. However, advantage still SU.
Yes, now Yoshi able to connect the jab and Toon Link the one feeling the pressure. 1 good egg coming out, 2 solid back airs building up percent, an egg connecting off stage, 2 eggs, and the Toon Link is gone. As now Igloo is still in the lead, only at 44%, 2 stocks versus 1. This is what you expect to see when you have the experience under your belt and when you are so confident in what your character has to offer. Not many people are comfortable going off stage, but Igloo doing a great job of making sure if I'm going to close out these stocks, I'm going to do it the right way. Beginning to rack up this percent, not going for anything extra unless given, as now Toon Link is at 65%, and Igloo, again, dancing around the Toon Link, staying above in this awkward spot where Toon Link's projectiles just barely won't reach. But now, again, Toon Link opting to catch these landings. Again, throwing the bombs up, trying to get this Yoshi out of the air. But Igloo dancing around, really trying to get in and find out the way to close this, as a nice egg will get Igloo back onto the stage.
Yeah, Toon Link really starting to find a rhythm now and locking up, containing so much space and preventing Yoshi from even finding a start to any of these combos. Igloo struggling to get in, now up to 140%. Still a stock advantage, but again, experience matters. Experience. We see the veteran presence coming out with this very cool, calm and collected. What? A back air, a nothing into back air combo. We'll put that away for Shenandoah. I blinked and the game is over, Kevin.
There was no kill spark. It normally zooms in on the last hit, but that Toon Link just flew.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know what it was? As crazy as this is going to sound, I think the Toon Link was holding out. I think the Toon Link was trying to roll away.
I think you're right.
And because of that, when you hold out, the game won't give you the kill spark because it assumes the kill sparks occur when the move will take the stock, no DI included. So when you're holding in the direction that a move is going to send you, suddenly there's nothing.
You get an extra launch distance.
Yeah. 2 frames. Toon Link here, Toon Link in Blessing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we said it last week, and I get to say it again. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time moments. And that's a huge play and a great moment again for Igloo to come in as the unexpected anchor, frankly. But an anchor nonetheless. Another great player on this very loaded roster, able to put the set away, put the series away in his own hands. Very, very well done. Shout out to Kentucky for a great series.
Yes, it was truly so much fun to watch because there were so many great moments from all of these players. There were so many intricacies from the side of Kentucky, from picking a whole plethora of characters that we didn't expect, as well as that Mii Sword. I'm not over that Mii Sword.
That was very fun to talk about.
I'm not done with that yet. We still don't know what the down B was, Chris.
That's true.
But on the side of SU, the same goes, where we saw really shining, like, superstar moments where Kip, once again, coming in strong and showing why you need to respect the Pac-Man.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that coin, we saw AJ, who was able to close out that series with the Falco, and the same thing goes for Nimstafa and Igloo, who had such good control and really keeping the momentum of the game alive and making sure that even if it is a small lead, it's the lead that guarantees the win. And so shout out to all the players. Kudos to all of you. Love all of you.
Yes. I'm very, very excited to see more of this roster going forward through the season. But before we do any more talking, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with an interview with our very own Pac-Man player. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be back soon.
But at the same time, you have Kip, who's able to dance around this Toon Link's abilities, these shields, calls out the arrow, and having to drop the bell because of the bomb, gets the grab, goes for the back throw, and that Toon Link's at 112, bell in hand, immediately runs up with the dash bell.
To use a certain moveset, or is this character customizable, as we do see
This Mii Sword Fighter is looking for. They are much more in pace with the Pac-Man, trying to stay close, trying to not let Pac-Man get that setup of something that I have not seen very often.
Yeah, this certainly is.
My God.
This game so far, but taking these stocks are so valuable, as we will see. That will not do it. I take that back. Surely one more from either side will do it, and we
Up the percent one after another, but you have to be careful. Just about any.
See Kip find a 100% combo onto Incineroar. He might get it.
And Incineroar's the one to answer. Thrown off stage. The bell's there again. Oh my goodness. The stun.
Oh my trend will continue, but sure enough, we do see a Hydrant combo there, and now a very dangerous bell.
Now we're seeing the percentage start to even up again. The Mega Watt comes out. But also look at the stage choice. Because Falco has so many platforms to play around, it's allowing for him to dance around. It's a lot of get off me tools coming off of the Min Min, and because of that, both players at 110, but is very just fundamentally sound. The reason why you don't see much of them is because they tend to go for some very...
I think the first stock is a crazy tone shift.
Yeah, there
now,
you force here. The fact that Wolf can control space as well as he can for the first couple, and the last one didn't hit. It didn't send them stuff on. Experience plays a big thing. Experience plays a big factor, and because of that,
advantageous states finding ways to get the damage down, but will not
to come back onto the stage. You're trying to save it. You're trying to hold it, and immediately got the punish back in the face. But I could very well be seeing some real crazy shenanigans. Safe as another fire hydrant will connect. A cherry just barely
where this Mii Sword Fighter can be, and
thankfully
he's been able
to cover space. This Min-Min is staying on Megawatt, the big round.
Between a Min-Min and a Pac-Man, Min-Min will be in control. Now Pac-Man will find a bell and might.
Oh, Min-Min's gone. Knox letting go of the shield a little early.
Oh,
look
my
how far
lord!
Kip is going off. Min-Min throwing out the arms. You can't be throwing out those arms like that because you lose. Kip managing to even out this game. A Megawatt coming out, and he fist-based attack will take this stock. But on the
Welcome back to our Shenandoah Esports Arena here in Winchester. My name is Chris, and I'm joined here by Kip, our pack god himself. Kip, how you feeling after that?
I'm feeling good, man.
That's great. To walk me through what was kind of going through your head before, right? You're our opener now 2 weeks in a row. What's going through your head as you load into that game, into your first matchup, before you went on your 10 stock rip?
I just want to... I feel like my role in crew battle as a starter is to set momentum, because I feel like we're a very momentum-based team. So by me taking the 3 stocks, anything else I do, if I take any more stocks after that, I feel like just more momentum that just builds on, and you kind of just the momentum just kind of snowballed for the rest of game 1. We were just so confident going to the rest of it.
Yeah, I definitely say you set a hell of a tone in that first game, and I have to ask. Going into that 4th game, did you think you could do it? Could you go 12 stocks?
Maybe. It was weird with Min-Min. I had to edge guard her, but Kalos made it harder for me to do that. But
fair.
There was a chance.
Do we think we'll see that at any point this season?
I hope. That'd be cool.
I hope so too. All right, moving on from set number 1. What were the adjustments? What conversations did you guys have? Right, that went almost perfectly. So did you guys feel the need to change much?
We felt that their leads were going to change. We didn't think that they would start the Toon Link again, just by going off statistics. I 3-0'd them. So we kind of thought that, their Mii Sword Fighter and their Min-Min had probably had the best chances of taking me out compared to their Mii Sword Fighter and their Incineroar. So we kind of thought that we save me for later, maybe take out the Mii Sword Fighter and the Min-Min if I needed to. So we thought we'd send in Mustafa because, Wolf kind of beats pretty much almost all the characters on their lineup because it's just a really good character, and they have some little out there picks like the Mii Sword Fighter and maybe the Incineroar.
Yeah, and you make a great point. I'm curious to hear how you guys felt about those picks, because I don't know how much you could hear us, but Kevin and I were stunned almost every time we load into a match. We're like, who is that?
I heard you were surprised with the Greninja. But
yes.
So we did our research, we found we weren't aware about the Mii Sword Fighter or the Incineroar. We were expecting the Greninja game 1. I think the Greninja was playing Incineroar. The Ridley, I think we were expecting a Ridley, which if you remember from last year, they played pretty good. We were expecting to go Ridley, and I think that was the Mii Sword Fighter. And we were expecting the Toon Link as well, because we saw they were a new player.
Wow. Yeah, that's very interesting. But congratulations to you guys on the win. I'll say one final thing. Anything you want to shout out? Anybody watching from home?
I just want to shout out AJ. He's been doing a lot better on the team. He's getting a lot better. We're loving the way he's been playing lately, and we hope he can keep this up.
Awesome. Well, hey, shout out AJ, shout out you, shout out the entire team, shout out to you all for watching. That will do it for us here at Shenandoah Esports. If you want to watch more Smash Bros. Gameplay, we'll be back 1 week from today. We do have COD later tonight as well if you'd like to see some Call of Duty action. But otherwise, we will have games all throughout the week, so be sure to drop a follow. And otherwise, that'll do it for us. So be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It could change their day. And we will see you next time.
But at the same time, you have Kip, who's able to dance around this Toon Link's abilities, these shields, calls Kip, ooh. Back throw, and that Toon Link's at 112, bell in hand, immediately runs up with the dash bell.
To use a certain moveset, or is this character customizable as we do see?
This V-Sword Fighter is looking for. They are much more in pace with the Pac-Man, trying to stay close, trying to not let Pac-Man get that setup of something that I have not seen very often.
Yeah, this certainly is.
Oh
wow! This game so far, but taking these stocks are so valuable, as we will see. That will not do it. I take that back. Surely one more from either side will do it, and we
up the percent one after another. But you have to be careful. Just about any.
See Kip find a 100% combo onto Incineroar. He might get it.
And Incineroar is the one to answer. Thrown off stage, the bell's there again. Oh my goodness, the stun.
Oh my Hydrant will continue, but sure enough, we do see a Hydrant combo there, and now a very dangerous bell.
Now we're seeing the percentage start to even up again. The Megawatt comes out, but also look at the stage choice. Because Falco has so many platforms to play around, it's allowing for him to dance around. It's a lot of get off me tools coming off of the MWIII, and because of that, both players at 110, but is very just fundamentally sound. The reason why you don't see much of them is because they tend to go for some very...
I think the first stock is a crazy tone shift.
Yeah, there you force here. The fact that Wolf can control space as well as he can for the first couple, and the last one didn't hit. It didn't send them stop on experience plays a big factor, and because of that, a nice nair from the Wolf.
Advantageous states finding ways to get the damage down, but will not
to come back onto the stage. You're trying to save it. You're trying to hold it, and immediately got the punish back in the face. But I could very well be seeing some real crazy shenanigans. Safe as another fire hydrant will connect. A cherry just barely
where this V-Sword Fighter can be. And
thankfully
he's been able
to cover space. This MWIII is staying on Megawatt, the big round.
Between a MWIII and a Pac-Man, MWIII will be in control. Now Pac-Man will find a bell and might.
Oh, MWIII's gone. Nox letting go of the shield a little early.
Oh,
look
my
how far
lord!
Kip is going off. MWIII throwing out the arms. You can't be throwing out those arms like that because you lose. Kip managing to even out this game. A Megawatt coming out, and he fist-based attack will take this stock. But on the other side, sour spot on the back air. But MWIII at 176. The MWIII doing a great job of really respecting what Falco is looking for, but able to get back the center stage control and goes for the forward tilt to close that out. Seeing the most pressure out of this Toon Link. But at the same time, Igloo going for it all and is able
still could lose this stock with almost any hit, and there it is. Igloo will
an egg connecting off stage, 2 eggs, and the Toon Link is gone.
Presence coming out with this very cool comment.
Oh my goodness!
I don't think he sees the guy right there. Does find the guy planting bombs. Parlays it into his second. 1v3 looking for the clutch, looking for the last two. He's gonna find one. Another one walks in with Ross.
Absolutely a must-make because of the
ease of them.
What? The rest of his team is slowly collapsing. The Sombra is the last player.
Oh,
And Britax with the clutch.
Yella gonna get the Nair, starting out the Nair train. Boy cannot get out of it. What are we gonna see? Forward air, then down air!
Taking some form of space outside the spawn door, but Dragon Blade's gonna look to take it right back with a huge shatter. Oh my god! Another pick! Another pick! Oh, he just keeps going and just bang!
Hard point in the hand of the other team. Toxic tried to find one, finds a second. Does he get the third?
Finishes off with the pistol!
The entire team in front of him, and he's gonna find four! The ace, actually!
Push all mid corner, and Gingy staying deep instead of going defensive like usual.
Oh my god, kickoff probably was a 4-piece!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our Shenandoah broadcast today. We had Smash a little bit earlier there, winning 2-0 against Kentucky. Good for our Smash team, good outing for our team there. And now we are going to jump into some Call of Duty. This is our CXP match against Eastern Michigan. Moss, help us break it down.
So both teams coming into this 1-1, you know, trying to find footing, trying to get above 500. I believe Eastern Michigan 3-0'd, I think, Marauders.
Okay.
And then Eastern Michigan lost 3-1 to Akron. Akron is a very good team. I believe we played Akron as well and lost either 3-1 or 3-0. So we're looking at a close match. I believe, Matt, we've already gotten map set. If I remember correctly, I think it's Invasion, Karachi, Skid Row, Terminal.
All right.
So we're going to see a couple, as we look at the maps here, we're going to see Invasion a couple times. And then we're going to mix it up. You know, we got Karachi, Skid Row, Terminal. The updates the past few days have been, the past few weeks actually, updated the game a lot. A lot of the points are different. A couple of the points are different on Invasion. A little bit more mixy than it once was. There's a lot more money hills last time, especially that P5, but that's completely changed now. Karachi control, still the same. Skid Row didn't really change much. And then we have good old Terminal S&D. Maybe you'll see a couple 360 no-scopes off the top of AC. Going to see on Invasion, going into that Invasion hardpoint, you're going to see a lot of long-range gunfights. Very AR-dominated map. AR's got to watch the crosses. There's crosses absolutely everywhere you look. And I think that favors Shenandoah a little bit. I like you know, I'm gassing up teammates a little bit, but I like our ARs. We got Sid and we got Steve on the ARs for when we play CXP. So I like our invasion a lot. We're pretty. It's one of the maps we're really comfortable on. So and as we look at our team getting ready here, you got Sid, Vitaly, Relic, and Stevo, and I think they're ready to fry.
Yeah, I know. I believe it was a few days ago, maybe on Monday, Stevo had a very good outing for our COD team earlier this week, dropping huge numbers. Relic doing the same for the team there. You as well, a part of that squad, dropping huge numbers for our match on Monday. Do you expect these players to really mesh together like they did on Monday, and kind of with these new faces, with Sid coming in, with Vitaly coming in, filling in for some players here? Do you think that we're going to get that same kind of momentum and power coming through that we saw on Monday?
I think that this lineup is a very different type of team.
Right.
And not to say that they don't have chemistry, because they do. We scrimmed an incredible amount over winter break. And I think that Team Chem, not really going to be different by any means, but it's definitely a different play style. We have two subs, Vitaly and Relic. They're going to like to get kind of ratty. You know, Relic definitely gets aggressive at points. And then we have Stevo and Sid. Sid, kind of a slower player.
Right.
Comparatively, I feel like our CCL team is plays really fast. And I think that this team is going to play a little bit slower, but I think that they're still going to be on the same page during these maps.
Right, yeah, I'd expect to see Stevo kind of taking charge, kind of how he did in that Monday match, shot calling there for the team, and really carrying that momentum forward for all the players to kind of match pace around Stevo there. It'll be interesting to see, because I believe it was Hardpoint and Control where Stevo kind of went a little crazy there on Monday, and I'd expect to see that kind of momentum carry over into this match here for CXP, for Stevo and Relic alike.
Yeah, and I feel like against a team like this, Stevo really does have to show up, because this is not going to be an easy game by any means. Both teams played Akron about the same. So I think if any of our players are below their usual game, then it's going to be a tough matchup for them.
Right.
And so I think Steve is locked in. I think the rest of the players are locked in. So I think we're in for a good matchup.
Yeah, do you expect Steve to kind of continue that momentum, or are you going to look at players like Vitaly, Sid, and Relic to kind of step up and kind of switch pace, right? Like have Stevo kind of play on the back end and really step up when he has to, or are they going to follow Stevo through that kind of momentum that he had through Monday? Of course, we have two invasions back-to-back, which are maps that we saw a lot a few days ago and performed fairly well on.
Yeah, I think Vitaly's been stepping up a lot. He's one of the fastest growing COD players I think I've ever seen.
Right.
Just started playing competitive COD a couple months ago, and I think he's doing a really good job at picking up comms when maybe sometimes they're a little slow, making some calls that need to be made when maybe the pacing's getting a little too fast. You know, hey, we need to rotate. Hey, we got 30 seconds left. Or, hey, we got to push this. We got to push this point, try to get the scrap off of it. And I think he's done a really good job. And Relic can fry whenever he wants to. And that's the same with Sid. I don't want to make a mistake and count Sid out. Because Sid fries. He can fry. His knowledge, his game sense is very good. He's been playing a lot here as we go into Invasion here for map 1.
Yeah, P1, Eastern Michigan kind of trying to get early access onto that point, but Sid, a split start here for Shenandoah contesting this point. Eastern Michigan picking up 3 right off the bat there, stopping Shenandoah's contest, but unable to really stay on that point, kind of pushed off. No ticks coming through from either side.
Yeah, Shenandoah kind of getting a little bit massacred here off the break. I think they need to regroup. They're kind of hitting ones. And it looks like that's exactly what they're about to do. A few nades tossed out, trying to maybe play for white here. Stevo gets a pick. They're going to try to rotate P2, but two players here on Eastern Michigan trying to challenge. A couple gunfights come through. Nothing happened yet. Sid getting a little bit of scrap off old as Vitaly goes down. Relic picks one, but gets traded out as we're on this rotation to P2.
Yeah, Shenandoah Stevo getting picked off there by Tess Sim, finding Sid as well, trying to maintain possession, getting that first look at P2 there for Eastern Michigan. counting the ticks in their favor, 23-9 here. A pretty uneventful P1 there. Not a lot of points getting put on the board, but Steve-O will find two quickly, but answered back right away from Eastern Michigan. Sid now getting sole possession of P2 for Shenandoah.
Yeah, Sid doing a really good job reading these spawns. Palace spawns, especially for P2, can be a little buggy. You know, you can spawn right side palace and the other team respawn right left. Once you cross that wall, they're going to start spawning right behind you. So once you push out onto P2, you need to turn around, and Shenandoah doing a very good job of that. There's 20 seconds left in this hill, and they're getting a good amount of it here as Steve picks up one kill. Looking for another, not going to be able to get it. Vitaly, though, going to be able to pick up one as Shenandoah goes on the rotate.
Yeah, Shenandoah now rotating over to this P3 point here, really getting everything out of that P2 point, getting a healthy lead here on about 19 points and having first access to this P3 with Sid and Relic getting 2 picks right off the gate. Sid will drop in response for Eastern Michigan, but again, possession is fully in Shenandoah's favor as Relic will get traded back by hang time there, but Eastern Michigan unable to really push through that trophy in a good position there for Vitaly.
Yeah, Shenandoah's doing a very good job here of watching the cross from Laundry and outside Laundry. As we see Steve-O pick up one, Sid goes down, but Eastern Michigan not really able to get any space off of those kills. Steve-O just kind of being a menace, not letting them get through where they want to get through. As Shenandoah got pretty much a full 60 off of that hill. As Sim gets a 2-piece, it's going to be a little rough for Shenandoah to rotate off this. They're going to spawn back gas. It's a hard rotate to make, but we'll see if they can do it.
Yeah, Eastern Michigan able to get some picks off of that P3 spot there, but unable to penetrate the defense that Vitaly has set up. Relic will get picked off there on rotation over to P4, which Eastern Michigan will have first move towards. 2 more picks on the side of Eastern Michigan. Sid will get one back, but will fall in response. Vitaly, jump shot, will not win the gunfight there, and really Eastern Michigan has full control almost of this P4 location.
Yeah, this is a really tough hill to break. Either one team's holding all of the time or it gets really mixy here as a couple players on each side goes down. Eventually 3 go down there for Shenandoah. Sid left alone, trying to look to see if he can get any picks to open up some spacing as they take a challenge to DVD. Gates picks up that kill on the Sid. Gonna back up towards Dark. Relic gets a pick on point, looking for another one, not able to get it here. Looks like Eastern Michigan trying to bring this back after Shenandoah got 60 off of P3.
Yeah, Gates going crazy there, 14-4 now for Gates over on the side of Eastern Michigan. But really well spread out. Gates again getting behind Steve, where they're able to get that quick pick. Will also assist Sim there on taking down Vitaly, but unable to really get huge picks on that point there for Eastern Michigan. They have first move, though, for this next point here. Shenandoah trying to get in position to really retake this, but Relic finds Gates again. Vitaly and Steve-O coming behind him, able to get him out of the way. This might be the moment for Shenandoah to take control of this point.
And just as you say that, 2 players from Shenandoah go down, and a third also goes down here as they're going to spawn by P2, and they're going to look to rotate, try to get control of P1, and try to make sure Eastern Michigan kind of just gets killed off of P5 as Sid takes down a huge gunfight there in DVD, looks to rotate, kind of reading this guy mid-tank, not able to get it. Eastern Michigan kind of just winning these rotational gunfights. You know, it's not like anybody on Shenandoah's too negative for the most part, but they're not challing together. As we see there, Sim just takes down Steve-O, and it's kind of costing them a little bit.
Yeah, 2 huge points back-to-back for Eastern Michigan there. P4 and P5 racking up good points, and we'll have possession again of this P1 here. Getting pushed off slightly by Vitaly, but Benito able to get behind there, get Vitaly out of the way. Relic will trade it back in favor of Shenandoah, but they aren't able to get onto this point. Eastern Michigan maintains full control, although it is contested right now. Sid getting hang time. Sim answering back, trades back and forth, but Gates will drop Vitaly and Sid right as Shenandoah had a glimmer of hope on that P1, but Gates shuts it down.
Ever since that P3, it looks like Gates is just kind of taking over the game as he goes down there from a nade. Sid gets a 2-piece, and Shenandoah looks to get a little bit off their scrap here. I don't think they know that they're spawning behind him as Gates looks to try and get this kill onto Relic, and he does finish off the kill. Shenandoah, though, able to get that kill on P2. One more player goes down off Shenandoah. They're going to try to have to get full 60 on here because their momentum's kind of swinging in the favor of Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, Gates right now unstoppable almost in this first map on hardpoint here. Just the rotations and the gunfights are just getting won across the board right now by Eastern Michigan. Sid gets 2, but Gates and Benito are able to answer back. Stevo getting 1, hang time answers back, getting Sid off of that point. And really, they're able to tick this point up, right? There's 25 seconds left on this hard point. They need to maintain control for the rest of this to really get back in this game and tie this one up.
Yeah, but if you look there, like if you look at the mini-map right now, Eastern Michigan is rowing really early compared to Shenandoah. While Shenandoah does get that scrap time, it's kind of tough to rotate, and you're just running into 3 players on Eastern Michigan who now look to have complete control of P3 as they're spawning Palace, and Shenandoah is probably going to start spawning gas here. It's a tough fight to take when you have to cross that wide open street.
Yeah, hang time already set up here in P2. Will get dropped, however, Stevo finding a huge pick. Gates will answer back. Stevo will drop, but he gets 2 before he goes down. Sid trying to throw a nade up, but Gates is in the right position. Tracking Gates right now has been a problem for Shenandoah. Unable to get these picks on him. Stevo will answer, but they aren't able to get into this point like they want to.
Yeah, as we see, Stevo nades himself, and Shenandoah just having trouble grouping back up. They're challenging a lot of ones, and Gates is just being aggressive, getting a pick, and kind of making Shenandoah back off, feel a little frantic. I wish we could hear comms right now because Shenandoah is probably going to have to relax. You got to breathe, and you got to try to rotate together as a team as you're kind of just losing those one-on-one gunfights on the rotate.
Right, yeah. Eastern Michigan's rotates have just been faster and a tad bit sooner than Shenandoah so far on this hard point. They will get first access to this site here, I believe P4, but Gates again able to get trade. Sid will drop, but Stevo was able to answer in response. Sim will drop. Stevo now no control getting taken by either side on this point. Really just gunfights, back and forth trades, as now Eastern Michigan will move on to the site and take control.
Yeah, it looks like Eastern Michigan's plan here is to try and keep gas spawns and play for white on this hill. They're up by 50. They don't need to worry too much about getting time on this hill as long as Shenandoah stays off of it, because they have spawns for P5, which can be a huge money hill and could spell the death for Shenandoah if they don't win this next rotate.
Yeah, this rotation is going to be huge here. No one on P4 here for either side, really just playing up for positioning, first positioning for P5. Eastern Michigan trying to rack up the point total here, trying to get this early access onto this point.
Yeah, as we see here, Shenandoah trying to fight through DVD and street. It's kind of the only way you can really take it unless you hit through mid, but mid takes a lot of time, and as we see, Eastern Michigan doesn't really need a lot more time to win this map. We do get a pick there from Stevo, which is incredibly important, and Sid gets another one. Stevo gets traded out, but for now, Shenandoah has controlled point until Benito gets a 2-piece. Vitaly trades out Gates. You see Eastern Michigan trying to fight out this point from back gas. Stevo is going to blow up Sim. Vitaly looking for that top blue control. Trying to get the kill on a point, does get it. This is huge time to keep Eastern Michigan off of. Shenandoah is going to have to look for P1 rotates, though, already. Eastern Michigan can't win off this anymore. That 7-in-1 fight right here is going to be a huge gunfight as a couple go down for each side, backed by P5, and nobody really has control of P1 just yet.
Yeah, P1 here is going to be a huge hill for Shenandoah. They need to get big numbers off of P1 here to stay alive in this map. Number 1, Stevo trying to set up against Sim through the car. Unable to find him. Sim will win the gunfight, but Sid answers back in response. Gates and hang time now falling to Sid and Relic. This might be the opportunity to push in and get a priority position on this site here. They will move in. Benito and Sim will trade back quite quickly. Sim getting Stevo off the site. Gates trading back against Sid, and really Eastern Michigan kind of surrounding Shenandoah on this point.
Yeah, it's not. They don't even have to be in point. Shenandoah just kind of playing on their back heels. They're not very comfortable, it looks like. They're just kind of worried, probably about Gates, who's 37-16, as Relic takes down Benito. They're going to have to they're going to have to push for P2, but they're kind of in a blender right now as they're spawning back gas. There's 9 seconds left, and Eastern Michigan only needs 30 seconds here. A huge kill there from VOD. They're going to have to take that opening and just kind of play aggressive here, as VOD is going to try to feel out where the players are at. They're not going to check broken, and Gates gets a 3-piece. A huge 3-piece as Steve-O is able to trade it out, but they only have 20 seconds. Shenandoah spawns Palace. Huge 2-piece there. Gates trades out one. Hangtime trades out another. It's a 2v2 here on P2. This is a gigantic moment here for Shenandoah. Steve-O picks up one, is going to look to get time. They know that Eastern Michigan is spawning Palace. Relic kills one on the pinch. Steve-O gets another one off of the head glitch. This is looking good for Shenandoah.
Yeah, Shenandoah has this setup. Those spawns, being able to pick off Gates early off of his spawn there was huge, but they move off the point. Steve-O missing some crucial time there, but with 10 seconds left, able to get into the 200s here, but they're going to rotate sooner and ditch those points instead, trying to get access onto this point that Eastern Michigan has already started to set up on. Hangtime will drop to its Steve-O. VOD trading back Sim, and they will have first access to this point. But as I say that, Benito coming in, getting Steve-O, but VOD is able to answer back Sim, dropping Relic. In the meantime, VOD taking out the trophy there, and really getting this point and getting this rotation, ditching those few points onto that last point there, came in clutch here for Shenandoah.
Yeah, Shenandoah, this is a huge, this is the game right here. VOD gonna be able to read the kill. Sid comes in to help. Sid gets a 2-piece. Shenandoah can still, they don't win off of this hill. They're gonna have to rotate. Eastern Michigan already knows that, looking to rotate through mid. Steve-O gets a huge pick, but gets traded out by Benito. This is the game right here. If Shenandoah loses this rotate, the game is over.
Yeah, ticking up in favor of Shenandoah. They will get a slight lead here, but in 5 seconds, you're right, they will not be able to win off of this point. This rotation is in heavy control here by Eastern Michigan. The gunfight will go in favor of VOD, however, able to drop one, but Gates gets behind Sid and is able to answer back. Hangtime is going to answer as well, killing Steve-O there. And VOD and Relic in close positions here. Relic able to get Sim, but they cannot reach the point in time, and map number 1 is going to go over to Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, in the end there, it just kind of came down to rotates. We said it all map, maybe a little too much, but that last rotate there from P3 to P4, that was the game right there. Yep. I think once Shenandoah realizes that Eastern Michigan can't win off that, I think they need to leave. I think they need to be gone, because neither teams can win off of that.
Yep.
And the only hill that they can win off of is new on P4. And if you have control of P4, it's hard for a team to break that.
Yeah, and Shenandoah unable to really track Gates during these exchanges. I think he dropped around 40 kills there in that map number 1. And really, Shenandoah didn't play bad. They were just a slight step behind the rotations that Gates and the rest of Eastern Michigan were really coming in to really do, right? They were moving just a little bit faster and a little bit ahead of Shenandoah. Shenandoah, towards the end of that round, however, started to kind of match pace, getting those rotations down and kind of matching. But with the respawns coming through for Eastern Michigan, they were just in that spot a little bit faster on that P4 and really were just unable to contest that one.
Yeah, Shenandoah just kind of felt like they were never really able to get set up into their holds.
Yep.
It felt like maybe those two P3s, they did play P3 very well, but it always felt like, besides maybe P2, it was always mixy, and they were always trading in and out of point, never really able to get a good amount of time on very many of the hills here as we go into some replays. And it kind of, I feel like the breakoff gunfight there set off the tone a lot. It felt like Eastern Michigan's holds, they were ready and prepared for Shenandoah to hit the spots that they hit. And Shenandoah kind of just chowed ones a lot here. And it just didn't bode well, especially against a team that is set up and ready and rotated early. And when you have someone like Gates just dropping over 40, it's kind of hard to do anything.
Yeah, and even when they got that trade onto Gates and were able to pick him off, it was often always answered by Sim or Hangtime there, able to get 1 or 2 basically winning these trades in favor of Eastern Michigan, just stopping any forward momentum that Shenandoah could have gotten off of these picks onto Gates, onto Sim, onto Benito. And really, that's kind of what defined that game there. These picks and these trades just back and forth throughout the game, but just too many of them falling into Eastern Michigan's favor, stopping Shenandoah to capitalize and move forward onto these points. However, very close, 250 to 243 here for the final score.
Yeah, it ended up being a close game. Shenandoah looked like they were pulling it away at first. I think the score was like 100, a little over 100 to 30 something, and then Eastern Michigan kind of just started winning those gunfights, getting those rotates early. They regrouped. They were like, hey, we're down a little bit. Let's just set up for new, get a full 60, and it worked because Shenandoah kind of just played off the heels after that first P2, struggling a lot, you know, in the kill department and in the rotation department, and also in the holds. I think that is one thing that we have had trouble as a team is getting set into our holds that we want.
Right.
And making sure that we're not watching the same thing. I think we're having a little bit of trouble here. But it's not like that was a horrible map. These are two good teams. Gates absolutely fried, and it's tough to really do much whenever somebody's frying that hard. But Shenandoah, very good search team. You know, I believe that we took Akron to a round 11. Akron, very good team, like I mentioned earlier, on a terminal. So, and as we see here, Invasion is map 2, and if this needs a map 5, we are going to terminal, which I believe is a good map for Shenandoah. And I think that the morale is still probably high. You know, it was a close game, and all you have to do is set the tone on search, and you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, Search and Destroy is one of those game modes, right, that you can really play for the bomb, but if you can get these trades that they were able to do kind of towards the end of that round, this can be a deathmatch style kind of game, right? Once you die, you don't get respawn. So you have 4 lives per round. You're dead. You're dead. If you plant the bomb, awesome, right?
Awesome.
That's always what you're looking for in hindsight. But it's going to come down to these trades. If they can get Gates off of the board early in these exchanges, that could really blow out Shenandoah here.
It looks like we're going to do a replay. We're replaying map 1 here, as I just got word that somebody used a banned attachment. I believe it was Eastern Michigan. That's why we're replaying. So we're going to get right back into an Invasion hardpoint once again here, as the setup kind of looks very similar to map 1. We got Shenandoah, if they want to win this map, they have to adapt here as 2 players trying to look outside DVD. Vitaly gets 1 pick. Steve-O gets another. They have control shortly as Sim does pick out Steve-O but gets traded out. And Vitaly picks up another one. It looks like Shenandoah is going to pick up the rest of the scrap, but they're going to be fighting for P2.
Yeah, a replay here of hardpoint is huge, right? Because now we know what these teams are going to try to do when rotating to these different points. We already see that P2 is going to be in control by Eastern Michigan here. Hang Time finding one, but Relic answers back. Gates back and forth trades in favor of really both sides, right? But as I say that, the possession of this point is going to maintain and stay in Eastern Michigan's side. Pushing forward, Sim will drop 2. Relic and Steve-O dropping on the push there. Sid trying to answer back, but Gates and Benito able to get 2 picks quickly off of that one. And this P2 seems to be in almost full control. Relic, however, will drop Benito, and Steve-O is going to get hang time. Sim will answer back, but Sid trades back and forth across the map here, and control now for P2 will go back to Shenandoah.
That 5-in-1 gunfight that just happened where Gates picked off Relic was a huge gunfight. Eastern Michigan spawning Palace, you'd think that Shenandoah was able to get control of P3, but they kind of rotated again late, and that kill on the Relic was a huge kill for Eastern Michigan as they were able to fly through middle and now seem to have complete control of P3 as it starts, and Gates picks up another 2. Relic trades out Sim, trying to trade out Gates, not able to. Gates still frying. Vitaly does pick it up, and we see Vitaly struggled a little bit last map, but he is starting off hot right here.
Yeah, these spawns coming back and forth here. Vitaly trying to sit and find a pick here on to Sim, and will be able to do so. Gates will answer, though, in response. The push coming through now for Shenandoah, trying to get to this point, able to pick up the kill onto Benito that was sitting on point, and now control of the point shifts over to Shenandoah.
Yeah, this is huge scrap here. As long as Shenandoah can get control of P4. That was a huge kill from Steve on the Gates. Benito goes down as well. They're not going to see 2 from DVD, but Vitaly almost turns on him. Steve-O trying to look up for that trade, not able to get it just yet. As Sim takes down Relic off of Old, and it looks like Eastern Michigan trying to fly through Cafe and also hit Riverside to get control of A-Bomb and this P4 hill.
Yeah, I like the setup that Shenandoah has here now. 2 trades back and forth, however, and the spawns coming in again. They're all facing each other, right? This trade is going to go in favor of Steve-O here. The gunfight is one huge advantage here for Shenandoah. Vitaly will find Sim, but Steve-O will drop as well as Relic here. Vitaly will be able to pick up 1 in the meantime, but the point is in favor of Eastern Michigan. They have the move, they have the possession. Sid getting aggressive, will able to drop Sim there, and now the possession shifts back over to Shenandoah's side.
The race is on for P5 here. Sid's looking for 1. They're playing a little bit of ring around the rosy, but now Shenandoah in a 2v2 in DVD. Steve-O takes down Gates, Sim takes down Vitaly. Steve-O also takes down Hang Time. Incredible shots there in the rugs. As this P5 is going to be incredibly important. You see Eastern Michigan spawning out Palace, which is exactly what Shenandoah wants, but they're still going to have to find number 3 back gas.
Yeah, Benito still alive here, creeping up behind Steve-O. If they're able to get a pick here, that would be huge for Eastern Michigan, and enters the site already. Benito able to get the gunfight win there against Steve-O, but Relic will answer back, answered though by Gates. Vitaly and Relic will drop on the side of Shenandoah, and possession of this P5 will shift back over to Eastern Michigan.
Like we were witnessing last map, it feels like these points are getting very mixy. There's only a few times where one team is probably holding it for a majority of the time, and you can see that in the score as it's currently 102 to 91. As Steve-O gets a team kill, Relic picks up 2, goes down. Steve-O trades out Sim, and Sid gets Gates. That's 4 down there for Eastern Michigan. And it looks like Shenandoah knows exactly where they're spawning. Maybe not, as they're kind of just running by each other back gas. We see a 2v2 by DVD here. Huge kills there from Gates and Benito. 5, the lone man, trying to protect P1. Steve-O takes out Hang Time. And for the time being, Shenandoah has control of Hill a little bit, as Relic trying to get that kill, kind of just playing white time here on P1.
Yeah, Shenandoah setting up on this tank here, but Sim and Hang Time are going to be able to answer that. Sid and Vitaly will both drop. Relic and Steve-O, however, still alive near this point. Relic on top of it, but will drop to Benito. Hang Time picking up Sid in the meantime. Possession now shifting over to Eastern Michigan, but the point total right now super close, 122 to 104, ticking in favor of Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, this is a good sign though here from Shenandoah. They were spawning Palace. They never let themselves get flipped during that P1. Palace good sides, at least for the start of P2. Once you get to around 40, 35 seconds, you're going to want to try to flip yourselves out towards gas. But for now, they have really good control of P2. Hopefully, they can bring this back with a full 60.
Yeah, Shenandoah having a great setup here onto P2, but Hang Time will drop its Steve-O. A huge pick there on the side of Eastern Michigan. Spawning now in Palace. Relic will be able to pick up 1. Hang Time is going to answer. Steve-O will pick up 2 in the meantime, coming behind Eastern Michigan there. A huge swing there for Shenandoah in these gunfights. Gates will also fall. It's Steve-O picking up 3 in the exchange. Huge hill now for Shenandoah if they can hold it for the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is extremely huge time here for Shenandoah. 6 and 2 are going to take a gunfight on the side of River. Vitaly gets a gigantic kill, but is he going to read 3? Not able to. Almost turns on him. Looks like Eastern Michigan's going to get hill control here for P3. It's looking to take a gunfight on the cross. Steve-O kills Benito on a bomb. We like to call that place rat. A lot of rats do go there. As Steve goes bridge, looking to try to get some kills. He's able to just kind of cross here. And Relic also in gas. This is huge time here for Shenandoah as Steve-O gets a huge pick on time. And Shenandoah has control of P3 right now. A huge gunfight in the back as Relic does take down Benito. Steve-O going to look the cross, picks up one, and looks to just stay alive inside time.
Yeah, Steve-O winning that gunfight there against Hangtime, putting his trophy down. Hangtime and Sim, however, are going to pick up 2 in favor of Eastern Michigan here. But Steve-O in a good position to really just hold this point in favor, but a little miscommunication now getting contested, but Steve-O's going to win the gunfight. Sid and Vitaly will drop. Steve-O answers back. Benito dropping for Shenandoah, and really Steve-O holding this point almost all by himself, picking up 2 in the meantime. Trophy back down for Steve-O. A huge hold for Shenandoah.
That was just absolutely disgusting. I have no other words. And as I'm saying that, Vitaly gets a huge 2-piece on the rotate. Sid picks up Sim and Dark, and this is looking great for Shenandoah as they're up 202 to 147 here, and they have control of P4. And let me just mention, Relic killed someone on a heady downriver all the way across the map with an SMG earlier, and I just thought that was nasty.
Yeah, Relic in a good position, but Hangtime is going to be able to spot him out. 3 kills now in favor of Eastern Michigan. Trophy will come out of Sim, but Steve-O is able to find him and sniff him out. Nades coming now out from Relic. Able to pick up one. Hangtime will drop. Shenandoah, Steve-O getting another, moving on to this site here. And really no ticks going in favor of either side. Trying to get these exchanges first. Steve-O, however, will drop to Hangtime. Benito finds Vitaly on the backside after he picks off Gates. And Eastern Michigan trying to get these ticks. 10 seconds left, but the rotations are already coming through for both sides. Benito is going to stay on this point to try to get any last seconds and points out of this one. Relic will find Gates on the floor there and keep him there. Shenandoah having a good rotation. Sid and Vitaly picking up 1 apiece. Huge push in there for Shenandoah.
Yeah, that was a huge kill there from Vitaly, and that kill from Relic on the Gates by DVD cut. Absolutely huge as a couple trades come through. Gates looking to get Vitaly off of time. This is a very close game. Shenandoah now spawning back gas. They get the close spawns, but it's tough to fight out of that when you get top blue control on the other side, as Gates just looking to cause a lot of havoc in the background. Sid trying to be a little sneaky.
Steve-O
here,
finds
trying
Gates.
to contest point here. Steve-O gets 2. Sim does trade Vitaly. Steve-O gets another one. Steve-O gets a 4th here as Shenandoah cannot win off this, but this is huge time going into next point.
Yeah, if they're able to hold this point to the maximum points available left onto this site here, rotating back to this P1, they will only need a few seconds of control to be able to seal map number 1 here in favor of Shenandoah.
Yeah, they played that P4 to P5 very well. Shenandoah went together, they chowed together, but now they're going to have to try and break P1 as Eastern Michigan has control of DVD and Cafe, and Shenandoah's going to probably have to 4-wipe them if they want to get this time.
Yeah, Vitaly setting up, trying to find the fire there, but Sim will drop him. It's Steve-O will find Benito, but Gates will find Steve-O in response. Gunfights on the winning side here for Shenandoah. Relic will flick and find Sim, but Hangtime is there to answer back for Eastern Michigan. Sid on top of Tank now, trying to make something happen. Hangtime, however, Benito gets the nade in the perfect spot. Sid will get blown to smithereens, but the contest coming through here for Shenandoah. No ticks happening on either side, which is frankly a good thing here. Now control for Shenandoah. Will they be able to keep it for the last few seconds? They will be able to. Map 1 now going in favor of Shenandoah.
They adapted so well halfway through the map. We kind of saw the first half of the map. They were kind of making the same mistakes, but I heard 2 of the Shenandoah players back here. They were yelling. Their passion is flowing, and it looks like their comms started flowing and their teamwork started flowing as they were rotating early. Their holds were really good, and that P4 to P5 especially, you know, Eastern Michigan did get a little more time off that P4, but Shenandoah are able to keep it wide enough. For P5 to P1, Shenandoah knew, hey, Eastern Michigan, they don't win off of that. Let's try to go P1, and eventually Vitaly and Relic just picking up those last 3 kills, all they needed to get those 4 seconds to win map 1.
Yeah, and you saw the adjustment, right? After having that map 1 not count because of a band attachment being used, we don't know who used it, but working out in favor there for Shenandoah, they were able to play each other and kind of get what they wanted to do, what the game plan was. And Shenandoah was able to then adjust and match the rotation speed that Eastern Michigan was coming out from, and really kind of snowball that momentum in favor of themselves.
Yeah, they, again, like you said, towards the beginning of the map, Shenandoah was still losing those rotates. But as the map started to go on, everybody started warming up. The kill differential between teams was also a lot closer this time around. And I think that also helped, along with just the teamwork here. You know, map 1 and a little bit of of the replay of map 1.
Yep.
Excuse me. They were challenged once. Eventually, they just started challenging together, and it looks like a switch just flipped as Shenandoah goes into the replay and takes the map.
Yeah, and Steve-O having a huge game there for Shenandoah as well. Kind of a little bit lackluster on that first map 1, but I guess getting a little warm up there, getting a little warm, able to turn on the Jets 37 and 21 there for Steve-O, able to bring it back and win map 1 there for Shenandoah. But all members really pulling their weight. 22 kills on Relic, 19 on Vitali, 14 there on Sid, able to maneuver and sit on these points and really start to rack up some positive challenges in favor of Shenandoah and really just map control all around.
Yeah, it really helps when you have Steve-O just getting 4 pieces around the map.
Yep.
And also, Relic, I want to shout out Vitali for having a really good map compared to his map 1. I think he struggled a little bit map 1, but he came into this map immediately frying, did not worry about what happened before. Right. Also, I want to shout out Relic, absolutely just frying people all the way across map with an SMG of all things, which in this game, kind of tough to do. Sid also there. Never want to forget him.
Yep.
He's doing the dirty work.
Yep.
He's getting the kills that he needs to get. You know, looking for spawns for his team, and I just think they played a lot better that second time around.
Yeah, it definitely seemed that the rotations and the team play was at another level compared to that first map 1 there. Really, like you said, challenging things together, swinging out together, and really just all-around gameplay. They knew where Eastern Michigan was trying to move and what they were looking to do, and called it out to the rest of their teammates. Were like, hey, I saw him moving this direction, try to rotate on him, pinch, and they were able to do that multiple times and get huge picks that really swung fights in favor of Shenandoah.
Yeah, and that momentum is going to help a lot going into Invasion. Yep. Search and Destroy next, which have you watched an Invasion Search? I'm assuming that you have, considering you casted to run on the game. We play Invasion Search a lot. I actually really do like it. You know, usually you're going to see this is an interesting one. You're going to see one-person setups on defense, like on B, usually just kind of playing information.
Yep.
Sometimes you'll see an extra person sent there. It's unusual that you'll find people getting really aggressive, you know, towards Broken, Bed, and DVD. But sometimes it works, and sometimes it catches off guard here. There is also a huge spot to have on defense by Bridge where you can kind of just see all of Riverside and also A-Bomb, which is a huge power position to hold.
Yep.
So I think it looks good for Shenandoah going into map 2, but you never know. Gates still kind of frying, albeit not as much as he did the first time around.
Yeah, and really the morale boost that map 1 replay kind of gave Shenandoah, hoping to carry that over into this Search and Destroy. They were able to track Gates if they were able to do that again. And I think we talked about this a little before the match had to be replayed there, is that if they can get these picks onto Gates and Sim early on in these rounds, you don't get to respawn on Search and Destroy. So getting those opening picks and those opening trades to really go in favor of you, 1-0 trades, is going to really be able to push the agenda there for Shenandoah.
Yeah, it's really hard on a map like Invasion. If you're down a person, it's really hard to kind of regain and get back to maybe you got first blooded early on in the round. It's 3v4. If you don't get a pick, it's kind of tough to really do anything.
Yep.
Because there's so many power positions. The other team can kind of just play for info and very ratty. Because, I mean, you could see A-Bomb from almost anywhere.
Yep.
And there's also, like, 2 cars there, kind of like a parking lot almost. You can kind of just get blown up while trying to plant the bomb. And B is almost all the way in defender spawn. And so the goal is essentially you don't want to get first blooded. I mean, that's obviously you never want to get first blooded in Search, but especially on Invasion, it's really hard to come back from that disadvantage.
Yeah, trying to come back from a man down really on any map for Search is hard, but like you said, these spots that people can hold onto these points, if you're down a man, it's hard to really retake and contest these angles that people can really start holding down on Invasion here. It'll be interesting to see how they split off of respawn or spawn here and see if there is going to be early action in these games, if they're going to go mid, try to get a pick, see if someone's going to rotate towards A side or towards B side, and if so, if they can get that pick there, if they can snowball off of that pick and kind of get in the mines and frazzle the enemy team.
Yeah, I'm currently thinking we're going to see, I don't know who's on attack first. If Shenandoah is on attack first, I'm thinking we're going to get a 3 or 4 man push towards B.
Okay.
If not, we're probably going to try to just play for a pick around Cafe or River. But I'm looking for Shenandoah. I kind of want to see us get aggressive.
Yeah.
Because you can catch a lot of people off guard, especially on offense in this map. It's kind of tough if you go B without a trophy first round.
Yep.
But if you can find a pick, and especially if there's that only one person sitting there for info, you can almost guarantee a bomb planet.
Yeah, getting that pick there, that is an interesting strat, that if you push those people towards B site and you know the defense only sets that one person there for information gathering, getting that early pick and getting that bomb down can really force the enemy team to kind of play fast, right? Which is not something that you usually want to do on defense. You want to be able to hold your angles and have them come into you. But if it's the opposite way around and the attacking side gets to get that bomb down early, then all of a sudden it's a whole different ballgame.
And it looks like, call me Tony Romo, I predicted it. We're sending 4 down street, and as we see here, 7, the lone man playing for info on B site, as Shenandoah already in control, looking for that player dark, not going to see anything. It might be a free bomb plan here. Just got to be careful of some nades coming in on the B.
Yeah, Gates kind of looking through dark there, but Sim is going to get the early pick instead. Relic will also drop soon after. Hang time, however, will drop to Stevo. 2v3 situation now for Shenandoah. Stevo unable to get Gates, and Benito will answer with Vitali dropping. Eastern Michigan going to be able to really take round number 1 there for themselves.
Yeah, that quick pinch there from Eastern Michigan was a huge call. I don't know who got that first pick. I believe it was Sim for Eastern Michigan. It was a huge pick because once you're down a man, especially if you're kind of just around each other in B site, you don't have many spots to go. You have Square, Bulldozer, and Ice Cream.
Yep.
Which is that little room back there next to bomb site, and it's tough to really play because you're kind of hunched up, and you're very easily nadeable.
Yep.
I guess I don't know if that's a word.
It can be one now.
It's kind of hard if you're a man down to fight that. And Eastern Michigan with that quick pinch, able to retake bomb site.
Yeah, Shenandoah now on the defensive side here, sending 1 towards B, pretty standard here, 2 towards this mid site, and Sid covering that back angle towards A here. However, close quarters here possibly for Shenandoah as Stevo is kind of maneuvering his way through here, holding this angle. We'll see if a pick happens. Stevo is going to be able to find Benito. A huge first pick there. Vitali now working his way through dark, trying to look on towards hang time and on to Gates there, but unable to find anyone. Stevo's going to meet him.
Yeah, Stevo does get stunned. Eastern Michigan knows where he's at. They're going to trade him out. It's a 3v3 currently. Eastern Michigan just rushing towards B site. Vitali also rushing to try and watch that cross, keep them off the bond, but the smoke comes through. Relic now on a pinch. Is Eastern Michigan going to read this? Relic gets a pick. Sid gets a nade on the Gates. There is 1 person left. Bomb is not planted down there for Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, huge fight there for Shenandoah. Picking up 2. Relic lighting up Sim there, unable to get the kill, but Vitali will answer in response. Tied up now 1 apiece here for Search.
Yeah, Relic shooting. So that's what I call that. Those were insane shots, and then Vitali able to go finish the job there on a Sim. He was 1 shot. You could pluck him and he'd die. Huge round there. huge pick from Steve-O that kind of slowed down Eastern Michigan.
Yep. Even
though he ended up getting traded out, 3v3, Vitaly made the huge rotate over to Stoneheady, able to keep them off of bomb, and a huge pinch there from Relic as well.
Yeah, Relic able to get that pick onto the backside, and a huge nade coming from Sid there, really sealing the deal there for Shenandoah in round number 2 here on Search and Destroy. Now on the offensive side, kind of looking towards this A site now for Shenandoah.
Yeah, a huge pick there from Sim onto Sid. Shenandoah now playing down a man, 3v4, 1 minute left. They're just trying to feel out Eastern Michigan, see where they're at. They have info on one person after Sid went down, but Relic looking to maybe chow Freezer, gets the kill on a Benito, evens it up. Steve-O gets a kill on the hang time in Dark. It's now a 3v2, 3v1 as Vitaly takes down Sim. 1 man remaining, it's Gates. Steve-O not going to look behind him, gets taken out by Gates, who escapes through Dark, looking to reposition through DVD. Bomb does go down for Shenandoah as Relic and Vitaly now in a 2v1 with Bomb down.
Yeah, Gates kind of sneaking his way through Dark there, but now Shenandoah kind of trying to hold up these angles. Gates will go down, however, Shenandoah just solo gunfight victories across the map there, everyone pulling their weight in that round number 3.
I love to see those smiles. I want to know, I'm going to ask after the game, I want to know who made that call to rotate through River off of A-Bomb, because that was a big brain call right there. I liked that call. Kind of just keeping Gates, you know, who probably thought they were playing close freezer, maybe in a rat, just keeping him on his toes. And I think Vitaly, Relic played that very well.
Yeah, great showing there for round number 3 for Shenandoah. Round 4 now, defensive side now for Shenandoah here. And a pretty standard opening once again. We see Steve-O moving toward Benito, getting a pick onto Relic. That is a big one there. Steve-O not able to get hang time just yet, but able to concentrate onto his shooting there, able to pick up 1 3v3 now for round number 4. And Eastern Michigan kind of hovering towards this A side, but Sid on the back side picking off Sim. 3v2 situation now for Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, Sid kind of just steals my tent from Apartments on Skid Row and sets it up on Bridge as Steve-O gets a pick onto Benito. Looking for that second pick. Has a feeling that he might be Calf as it's a 3v1 for Shenandoah, as it looks like they're going to collapse Gates, trying to look for a pick here, trying to see if Shenandoah gets a little too aggressive, but they're not going to give him anything as they're just holding angles, and Steve-O kind of being a little bit of a rat here on A-Bomb.
I mean, hey, if it works, right? Gates trying to make his way over to B site, rotating over Vitaly, kind of sitting near Dark there. Doesn't recognize, turns around now, will not win the gunfight. However, now they know where Gates is, but rotating back around. Steve-O trying to make his way through to where Vitaly was last seen there. Sid also kind of hovering still around A site as Gates rotates back over to A.
Yeah, Sid trying to feel him out, making a huge read here. Is he going to check bomb? The time limit reached. I wasn't looking at the clock. That was my bad. Gates not able to get that plant down, and Shenandoah takes another round. And that was just huge kills all around there. Steve-O getting that kill onto top bed, and kind of just picking up everybody else in ones there. As Shenandoah picks up another round, as now their lead is up 3-1.
Yeah, Gates getting that pick on to Vitaly, but really unable to rotate back in time for that A site as the time did run out. I was also not looking at the clock, so I was like, oh, wait, I didn't think he died yet. No, the time did run out. Steve-O now behind Gates will get a huge pick for Shenandoah, the leading man down for Eastern Michigan. Now a push onto B site is likely. Hang time back site, however. Steve-O trying to make his way around. Relic will pick up the kill instead. Benito will answer back with Sid, but Relic is on the hunt trying to find him.
Yeah, as that bomb goes down, 2 players on Shenandoah are kind of trying to look for number 6 Benito here, as Benito is probably waiting for that pinch to come through Courtyard to Dark, or rather going through Stoneheady. This is going to be a tough one for Eastern Michigan to try and retake, as Benito takes Relic out. Now it's a 2v2. Steve-O trying to get the kill on a Benito, and does. It's now a 2v1 here. Sim going to have to do a lot here to try and win this round for his team. Kind of just walks out in the open and gets taken down as Shenandoah now makes this map 4-1 in their favor. And another just great round. All players Shenandoah were like, hey, how about we just run straight and see what happens?
Right.
And it worked out. It's kind of like that SpongeBob episode, you know, where Squidward leading the band and they end up.
Oh, yeah. I know.
You know, when they're walking on the street and two of them end up flying off.
Yep.
They were just walking together, and eventually they got enough picks to win the round.
Yeah, no,
Here's
exactly.
me now going to round number 6. And looks like Sid going to pitch that tent right back on bridge.
Yeah, this is Sid's spot right now, being able to look over towards A. 3 people, however, sent over towards B here. Vitaly and Stevo on defense. Vitaly sitting in dark here, trying to see if someone comes through. Now laying on top of the tank, back and forth, deciding what angle he wants to hold. But right now, Eastern Michigan playing it slow.
Well, 5 just tried challenging Sid on bridge. It didn't work out as Gates gets a trade out of Vitaly. Stevo picks up Benito. It's now a 3v2 for the side of Shenandoah. Stevo, I don't think he knows that Eastern Michigan didn't know either. Stevo gets a pick on the hang time. There's now 1 person left. Stevo tries to turn on him, and Gates gets the kill. Relic now top blue. Gonna try to push Gates out here with Sid running up street.
Yeah, Gates last man standing here, trying to lay down in back sight, but pushes forwards instead. Shenandoah in position to see the change of heart there for Gates, trying to get some picks quick here, trying to rotate back over towards A site, just not expecting Relic to be there that fast.
Yeah, Relic making a really good play there, just catching Gates off guard. Gates was not at all ready for that. And Relic been playing very well. Sid also playing very well. They're both playing patient, and it works out in the end for that round. And as we see, Stevo frying with 10-4.
Yep.
Shenandoah up 5-1. This is map point here.
Yeah, all members now moving towards this A site, trying to get these early picks here. We see Sim sitting in Sid's favorite spot as well, but this cruise missile's coming through from Stevo. If he's able to pick up 1 here, that would be huge.
Yeah, it would be huge as Relic picks up 1, and Stevo does get the kill with the missile. And it's now a really tough 2v4 for Eastern Michigan, as both players are kind of just sitting around DVD like, oh, both our 2 players are down. What are we going to do? As Shenandoah now just setting up, watching all the crosses here. 4, I believe, noticed 8. And I think he's repositioning forward. Gates does pick up Stevo. It's now a 3v2. Relic picks up hang time in courtyard. 4v8 gunfight. Gates picks it up. It's now 1v2 here. Relic setting up Rat. Almost takes out Gates. Gonna reposition into Cafe. Gates looking for this kill on the Relic. Relic's not gonna read it. Gates gets the pick. Only 10 seconds left. He's gonna smoke it. He's gonna try and defuse. Vitaly has to get there in time, and he does, as Vitaly gets the map-winning kill, and Shenandoah takes map 2 here on Invasion.
I mean, Gates, that was almost a hero play there from him for Eastern Michigan, picking up 3 on the backside of these fights. And really, Gates tried everything that he could, right? But Vitaly recognizes that the smoke is coming down and that likely a defuse is being performed on that bomb there. And really, Vitaly playing that patiently, not getting too aggressive, saw Relic die there and is like, okay, I'm going to hold this angle. We have the bomb down. It's up to them to make a play. I can just hold this angle. And Vitaly, with great patience, is able to bring that one back and win that map 2 for Shenandoah.
Yeah, that was huge patience there from Vitaly. I kind of wish the other players on Shenandoah had a little bit of that patience, as we almost kind of choked that, but Vitaly able to pick it up in the end. Had a fantastic map. I believe he went 4-3. All the players just picking up their part, doing their part, playing for info, rotating, trading out each other, and just making sure the round never gets too out of hand. I mean, Eastern Michigan only able to take 1 round, and I believe it was that defense where they retook B site from a couple pinches, and Shenandoah adjusted to that very well, left Relic up top by blue, broken, trying to watch that pinch, and it worked out here. As we look at the KDs from the team, Stevo frying, Sid, it says 2-4. That man did very well, sitting on bridge, just hanging out, getting all the info in the world, and Eastern Michigan did nothing about it, and it helped them win in the end. Vitaly and Relic also just frying, and just a very good, like all-around good map for Shenandoah.
Yeah, all playing together there on that search and destroy. Steve, like you said, I believe on 11 and 5 in that map there. A huge turn of events here for Shenandoah. A really close map one, 250 to 224 there on that hard point, but bringing it back with a convincing 6-1 victory here on Invasion on search and destroy. And now we go over to Karachi for control.
Yeah, Karachi, a lot of players' favorite control maps. It's very even in terms of attack and defense. You're going to be looking for spawn kills, as you always are on control. But Karachi, a little more winnable on offense. You have a couple more options as long as you don't go 4 down at the start and just have somebody sitting top third. Somebody's in yard, somebody's in your faces, arches, and your spawn. It's going to get kind of tough. Defense, I think, if I remember correctly, 60% of the rounds, I think it's 60-40 at least in the CDL for offense defense. So it's a pretty even map. And I think that as long as Shenandoah gets top third control, they get fire control, I think they have a good shot at winning this map.
Yeah, keeping up that momentum from that search and destroy is going to be key for Shenandoah, right? The communication, the rotations were there at the perfect timings for Shenandoah to pick up these kills onto Gates and onto Sim on their defensive rounds here. And being able to keep that up going into this control is going to be huge, especially for Steve-O, having 2 back-to-back huge maps for Shenandoah. If he can keep that momentum rolling, he can really run away with this control map.
Yeah, he's absolutely frying, as are pretty much everybody on the side of Shenandoah. Relic shooting straight. I don't think I've seen anybody shoot straighter. That's actually insane. The shots that he laid out down river here, as we're going to look to go into map 3 here in a minute. And this is definitely one of our more interesting maps. We've been scrimming, not too much control, not a lot of teams do, and but Karachi is definitely probably our best. High rise, I don't think anybody really wants to play it. Invasion can be an absolute blender, especially if the other team is just absolutely frying. So Karachi is definitely like the right down the middle pick. I don't know exactly how you'd put that, but nice every team's kind of just okay with neutral. There we go. That's another better way to say it. So I haven't seen Eastern Michigan play this. I have seen us play it. I think we're good at it. I like this pick for Shenandoah, but you never know. All it takes is one person frying and 1 4 down, and all of a sudden you're on your heels trying to run across the worst spawn trap besides high rise in the game.
Yeah, I'd expect Shenandoah to kind of keep up the pace here. They played a pretty fast search and destroy. They were patient when they had to be, but really wanted to put the pressure on Eastern Michigan, especially on their attack rounds, right? Going out of the gate, trying to hunt and find one pick here and there, either whether that be on A site or on B site, right? They switched it up, and I'd expect to see that same kind of prowess and aggression coming through here on control from Shenandoah, and it's really up to Eastern Michigan to really try to match that pace, and if they can't match it, try to slow it down in some way, trying to get these picks and really kind of change the momentum to be a little bit of a slower game, which Eastern Michigan did really well on that first hard point.
Yeah, Shenandoah does like playing a really fast game. Eastern Michigan, I think, able to handle it at first, especially in the first map before he replayed the Invasion hardpoint. But I think the pacing is getting a little much here for Eastern Michigan as we look onto map 3. And Shenandoah on the attack, looking to hit through mid and market side, as 2 is going to look for top third control. Vitali's just going to hop right in the point here as Steve-O gets a pick onto Benito. The first pick in the game, gets another one. Relic picks up a third. Relic picks up another one, as that's 4 down for Eastern Michigan. This is almost impossible to retake A once you have a setup like this, as Sid's going to go through top church. And number 3, Steve-O already looking long, trying to get control of B, and we've 2-stacked A now, trying to cap that point.
Yeah, Shenandoah winning gunfights back and forth, but Sim and Hangtime and Gates are picking up members on their own right, but the point is already secured in favor of Shenandoah. Now they need to move back into that B site. Respawns coming through. Steve-O is going to find Sim there on the rotation. Gates will answer back. Relic finding Gates. Sid almost finding Benito there. Now both setting up kind of on this angle, seeing if they can catch up Benito. They will be able to do so. Sid wrapping that corner faster than Benito really expected him to do so. And possession now of this point and control really back in favor of Shenandoah.
Yeah, like we were just saying, Shenandoah playing a really fast game, getting those picks in red and back trash. Here, Steve-O gets another one on a hang time. And it looks like we've two-stacked, almost three-stacked point as Gates and Sim take down 2. Steve-O gets the trade on the stim. Kind of just staying alone here in point, trying to be the hero for the team. Gonna pick up Benito. One more is contesting the point. Steve-O looks for him, gets taken out by Gates. Relic looking for hang time, not able to get him, tags him up a little bit. Sid cleans up 2. Absolutely huge 2-piece. This might spell the round win here for Shenandoah as they look for the last kill, and he doesn't even contest point here. Shenandoah just wins that attack extremely fast.
Yeah, Sim there towards the end trying to get back into that point to stop the tick from falling over to a secured point there. But Sid coming through huge with a double kill, retaking that point for Shenandoah and really taking that first round in control very convincingly.
Yeah, absolutely huge play there from Sid. That 2-piece right there won Shenandoah that round. And just like I was saying, never count him out. He is absolutely nasty at every COD he touches here as Eastern Michigan going to opt for a 3-rate push through Market as we see 2 going top 3rd. And we see Relic pushing up red, going to get that pick on the hang time. As Sid kind of just running through Market, Eastern Michigan has no clue. Steve-O picks up the kill on Gates and on the Sim as now 6 fighting 3 on top 3rd. Going to be a huge kill there from Benito. Hang time also picks out Vitali. Eastern Michigan kind of has control here of A, but Sid just causing havoc in the back line there for Shenandoah.
Yeah, I mean, Eastern Michigan does not know where Sid is. Sid's just running all over the place, behind them, in front of them, next to them, sometimes breathing down their neck. They just don't know where Sid is going to set up. Vitali finding hang time there. Sid now kind of finding himself in a 1v2 situation. Relic will help him out. Benito will answer with 2 of his own, however, and really Eastern Michigan getting control now on that A site.
And as we see here, Sid's still in the spawn for Eastern Michigan. As we're going to see, he's going on a pinch here, picks up 1. Going to get away with his life for now. There's only 1 person on point there for Eastern Michigan, so it's not going to cap that fast, especially if Steve-O looks to get this kill on top Church. Gates does pick up Steve-O, and Sim gets another kill onto Relic as Eastern Michigan looks to cap A, but Vitali getting huge presence here on the yard. Going to back up once he gets that comm that 8 is kind of pushed up Church.
Yeah, Shenandoah now kind of rotating for the protection of this B site. Vitali will pick up hang time long there. And really, Sid still kind of hugging this position, looking for hang time right now. If Sid's able to get this kill, that would be huge. Vitali getting Sim in the meantime. Benito will answer back as Relic will drop. But really, right now, Steve-O is rotating back onto this site, meeting Benito here. Benito doesn't seem to know that Steve-O is in the area. Steve-O swinging, shooting through that window there, picking up a good kill for Shenandoah. Trophy coming down for Steve-O. Sim will pick up Sid in the meantime. The Hunter has been tracked down, and Relic, Shenandoah as a whole right now, trying to maintain possession and keep Eastern Michigan off of this point.
Yeah, Relic just kind of causing havoc there. I think Sid picks up another on the hang time. We didn't mention, but Sid finally died in Market here. But Shenandoah kind of just picking up the slack here. Vitali gets a pick. Sid does go down, but still looking a little tough here for Eastern Michigan to try and cross by bus as Steve-O gets another kill on the Benito. 8 kind of just waiting for nobody up top plat. Sid kills another Eastern Michigan player in Sim. Hang time gets a trade on the Relic. Gates picks off Steve-O. Vitali takes out hang time, and Sid takes out Gates. There's 1 person left front bus for Eastern Michigan trying to contest point. Relic picks him up. Vitali picks up Sin. And now Eastern Michigan has 23 seconds left to try and hit B point.
Yeah, Shenandoah, though, has such a strong defensive setup here on B point. Sim will find Vitali, however, but Steve-O and Relic just in really good positions to hold this point. Relic will find 2, as I say that. Sid getting hang time as well. Gates trying to answer back, but Relic honestly going on a tear, really stopping any forward momentum that Eastern Michigan had trying to get to that B point.
Yeah, once we got those kills that inside of B point and around B point, we put pressure up on them in vending around red arches, and they kind of just were never able to cross bus. You know, Eastern Michigan, like I said, started playing on their heels, and everybody on Shenandoah started just frying. I mean, you saw 2 pieces. I think we saw at least 1 3-piece.
Yep.
Eastern Michigan not really able to ever hit out any of their pushes just because we were staggering them with the kills that we got.
Yeah, and you can see Sid here lighting it up 12-5. Really, every member with a positive KD here on the side of Shenandoah just able to win their own isolated firefights here. Steve-O finding Benito laying down there in that little hallway. And really, this is what Shenandoah has been doing. They've been playing so fast, finding these angles. Steve-O knows where Sim is, lasers him down in the same spot that Benito was, but Gates is going to be able to answer. But Relic, Sid with a double kill now, getting Gates and Hang Time full control. They push towards this B site first. I don't think that's something we've seen on this control map so far. And Sid, my goodness, just lighting it up.
Yeah, Sid getting huge flat control, trying to cut off that cross, make it a little bit harder for Eastern Michigan to get in the B point. And Shenandoah is going to take that control point on the B, and now they're going to look to hop on to A as Steve-O is going for spawn kills, not going to be able to get it. Relic looking for the same, takes out Gates, going up ladder to top castle, looking for another one. Relic picks up a 2, and he gets a 3! As Relic absolutely destroys 3 players on Eastern Michigan, and now looking to stack on the A. If they get this point, that is series over. Eastern Michigan scrambling through long, scrambling through P3, not P3 through street as Vitali takes out a team kill, but it doesn't matter as Shenandoah has one of the cleanest controls I've seen all season.
I mean, Relic towards the end there with that 3-piece. Holy crap, that came out of nowhere, right? Relic really putting Shenandoah on his back there towards the end of that round number 3 of control. And yeah, that was just commanding all the way through from Shenandoah.
Yeah, the pacing never let up. Once they got one person down, it was all gas, no brakes there for Shenandoah. Yep. They just hit every single point with such just, you know what, I'm going to say passion. Passion, that's a word we like throwing around here on our COD team. And I absolutely loved the teamwork. I loved the pacing. Yep. And once we got through that map 1, we weren't really challenging ones, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, really, the rotations and just the gunfight power that Shenandoah had, the momentum coming off of that map number 2, just shined through here in map number 3. That control didn't even seem close. Eastern Michigan just getting shut down. Gates did not have the map 3 that I believe he was hoping to have there. And these are the replays now from that control. Just a back and forth affair, but really full control from Shenandoah the whole way through.
Yeah, Eastern Michigan never really able to get it back on track. Once that 4 down happened in round 1, it kind of really were never able to get back in control. Haha, control. But Shenandoah, the pacing just too much there for Eastern Michigan. I mean, as we see here, Relic, Vitali, with those 2 pieces, those insane kills that they had on point. Not letting Eastern Michigan get any map control whatsoever, keeping those power positions and those spawn kills that were huge here as we're going to look at Relic's insane 3-piece on Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, Relic coming in huge there, but Sid as well, 16-6 here, really just had these angles down from the get-go, finding Eastern Michigan in rotations coming off of spawn. Eastern Michigan really didn't know where Sid was, and if I was them, I'd be pretty scared because really Sid was just in these angles that were almost unexpected coming out from Shenandoah.
Yeah, I might have been able to order DoorDash and receive it in the amount of time that Sid was sitting in market that first defensive round for Shenandoah.
Yep.
But it worked out. Absolutely not letting them ever feel comfortable in their own spawn.
Yep.
You know, maybe 1 or 2 will slip through, but that 3rd guy gets shot in the back, and it's like, well, now we got to turn around. Now we got to try to get market control, and that's so hard to fight back from, especially on Karachi.
Yeah, and props to all the members there from Shenandoah. Vitali having a good round there as well. Good map 3 coming from him. All members really in the positive there for that control. Just the momentum from map 1 after that remake for that map, just plowing through the search and destroy and really just capping it off with a fantastic control there from the boys.
Yeah, once they found their momentum in that replay of Invasion, they never swayed away from Shenandoah. They kept their momentum, they kept their cool, albeit a few heat checks here and there like that last round in Search, but they kept it going, they played confidently, and it turned out to be a 3-0 for Shenandoah.
Yeah, so with that being said, we are going to send it to a quick break really quick. We're going to be back with an interview with VOD. Don't go anywhere. No ticks coming through from either side.
Pick up one as the Shenandoah goes on the rotate.
Yeah, Shenandoah now side of Eastern Michigan. Sid will get one back, but will fall in response. VOD, jump shot, win the gunfight there, and really Eastern Michigan has full control.
Yeah, this is a really tough hill to break. Either one team's holding all of the time.
Finds Gates again. VOD and Stevo coming behind him, able to get him out. Possession again of this P1 here, getting pushed off slightly by control, although it is contested right now. Sid getting hang time. Sim answering back, trades back and forth, but Gates will drop VOD and Sid right as Shenandoah
goes down off Shenandoah. They're going to try to have to get full 60 on here because probably looking for that top blue control. Trying to get the kill on a point, does get it. This is huge. Hang time trades out another. It's a 2v2 here on P2. This is a
to it's Stevo. VOD trading back Sim, and they will have point there. Came in clutch here for Shenandoah.
Yeah, Shenandoah, this is a huge, this is the game right here. VOD gonna be able to read the kill. Sid comes in to help.
Pushing forward, Sim will drop 2. Relic and Stevo dropping on the push there. And enters the site already. Benito able to get behind Eastern Michigan there. A huge swing there for Shenandoah in these gunfight exchange. Huge hill now for Shenandoah if they can hold it for the next 30 seconds.
P3 right now. A huge gunfight in the back as Relic does take down Benito. Stevo gonna look for
Stevo's gonna win the gunfight. Sid and VOD will drop. Stevo answers back. Benito dropping for Shenandoah, and really Stevo holding this point almost all by himself to try to get any last seconds and points out of this one. Relic
in the background. Sid trying to be a little sneaky.
Stevo
here,
finds
trying to contest point here. Stevo gets 2. Sim does trade VOD. Stevo gets another one. Stevo gets a
gunfights on the winning side here for Shenandoah. Relic we're holding this angle. We'll see if a pick happens. Stevo is going to be able to
now on a pinch. Is Eastern Michigan going to read this? Relic gets a pick person after Sid went down, but Relic looking to maybe chow Freezer gets the and we've 2-stacked A now, trying to cap that point.
Yeah, they're now both setting up kind of on this angle, seeing if they can catch up. Benito,
they spell the round win here for Shenandoah as they look for the last kill, and he 3-rate push through Market as we see 2 going top 3rd, and we see a huge kill there from Benito. Hang time also picks out VOD. Eastern Michigan kind of 8 is kind of pushed up Church.
Yeah, Shenandoah now kind of rotating for leading Benito here. Benito doesn't seem to know that Stevo was in the area.
VOD picks up Sin, and now Eastern Michigan has 23 seconds left to try.
Relic honestly going on a tear, really stopping any forward momentum Shenandoah has been doing. They've been playing so fast, finding these angles. Stevo knows
going for spawn kill.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I am joined now by VOD. Walk us through what that win meant to you.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty big win. We were coming into this game even on our record, so we just wanted to make sure we have that positive record. And yeah, we got the job done.
Yeah, walk us through. We had to remake map number 1. What was the mentality like going into that remake, and did you make any adjustments there, seeing how that first map 1 played out?
Yeah, so that first map, when actually there was a band attachment that somebody used, and luckily Stevo, he picked up on that, so we got to replay that. And after we replayed it, you know, we got in there, made sure that we kept our minds clear, and we're just trusting the play calls, making sure we're trying to get those trades where we could. And yeah, I mean, we felt pretty solid going into that.
Yeah, and that map 1 remake was pretty close, but when you get into that search and destroy, that was a 6-1 victory for you guys. What was the momentum coming off of that map 1, and how did that kind of impact how you worked around that search and destroy? Who was making calls there?
Yeah, so Stevo's basically making the majority of those calls.
Right.
I mean, he just has a lot of experience, so hats off to him and his big brain. But yeah, I mean, our mentality going in after that map win on that first remake, that was huge.
Yep.
I think we really got that ball rolling, and I don't know. We were just trying to bang things out aggressively, and we came out with a dub.
Well, a dub indeed. This is also your first competitive season of Call of Duty. What was going through your mind with this first kind of showing of your skill in this game?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I was relaxed. I was just trying to make sure, I was doing what I could for the team. I know a lot of the guys on the team have experience and have that kind of knowledge already, so being able to have that behind me really helped me out a lot.
Yep.
That first map was a little shaky, but I think we got the job done towards the end, so yeah, I was pretty excited.
Yeah, well, congratulations on the win. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Thank you for everyone watching at home. Thank you, Mom. Thank you all the cousins that are watching. Steve, again, that was just a crazy read on that attachment. You're a nerd, so if you're watching, I hope you caught that.
All right, well, thank you, everyone, for joining us on this Shenandoah broadcast. Stay tuned for our next broadcast. I believe we have one tomorrow for Call of Duty again. I'm not entirely sure.
Not sure.
Well, regardless, stay tuned. We'll have future broadcasts coming up, and thank you so much for tuning in. Ticks coming through from either side.
Pick up one as the Shenandoah goes on the rotate.
Yeah, Shenandoah now side of Eastern Michigan. Sid will get one back, but will fall in response. Vitali, jump shot, win the gunfight there, and really Eastern Michigan has full control.
Yeah, this is a really tough hill to break. Either one team's holding all of the time.
Finds Gates again. Vitali and Stevo coming behind him, able to get him out. Possession again of this P1 here, getting pushed off slightly by control, although it is contested right now. Sid getting hang time. Sim answering back, trades back and forth, but Gates will drop Vitali and Sid right as Shenandoah
goes down off Shenandoah. They're going to try to have to get